You have 4 wins from 6, and it's almost last man standing for Glamorgan, with Eddie Byram, the opening bat, the latest injury casualty. He's replaced by Callum Taylor. But Glamorgan with a good deal of confidence, despite a rather patched up bowling attack at the moment. And on a lovely evening, they'll be hoping to take down Surrey and continue the batting form that has been absolutely sublime from Chris Cook and Colin Ingram over the last few days, Wera. Schedule, there's 14 group games in all, so we'll only be halfway through as we bizarrely switch back to the championship next week for a few days. But certainly Glamorgan have got off to a better start than in the recent half dozen years. They haven't gone through to the last 8 since 2017. That's the reason they've got a new red ball coach in Mark Lane, the former Gloucestershire favourite this year. So all's going swimmingly for him at the start of this. The news of the toss is that Surrey have won it and decided to bat first. That's right, Western Storm, the women's regional side, staged their first double-header with Glamorgan in Cardiff. They've previously done so at their other home grounds of Bristol and Taunton. Not the biggest crowd in earlier, but a decent game. They were up against powerful opposition in the East Midlands side, the Blaze, who won by 7 wickets and stay unbeaten in the group stages. But this is something that is going to develop, I think, in future years. The women's playing double-headers with the men in the county game, as they do in the 100 at the moment, and hopefully it'll benefit all parties. But maybe a weekend game for the doubleheader next time would bring in a bigger crowd, or maybe the absence of a multi-million selling rock band just across the road, which is causing a few traffic problems, as you can imagine. Thank you.
Look at this.
Very good evening and welcome to Sophia Gardens. Welcome back to those of you who are listening and viewing this afternoon for the Western Storm game. Welcome for the first time to everyone else. You're listening to BBC Sport Wales online together with BBC Radio London for tonight's T20 Blast match between Glamorgan and Surrey. Both teams with 4 wins in the table. Glamorgan from 5, Surrey from 6. The news is that Surrey have won the toss and chosen to bat first, and news of the visiting lineup will come from Mr. Mark Church.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Webb. Good evening to everybody. Gorgeous evening for it. Surrey have made one change from the side that won off the last ball against Kent on Sunday. Great drama on the BBC, it really was, in that game against the Kent Spitfires. No Ben Folkes tonight, so Cameron Steele comes into the side. Make up your own batting lineup, everybody, because I never know who's going to be batting where in this Surrey lineup these days. I think it'll be Will Jackson, Laurie Evans to open, Sam Curran at 3, Tom Curran's been batting at 4, then Jamie Smith, Sean Abbott, Chris Jordan, Cameron Steele, Jamie Overton, Sunil Narain, who opened in the first game against Middlesex, and Gus Atkinson. So yet again, Surrey, if Messrs T. Curran and Jay Overton were fit to bowl, they're playing 9 all-rounders in this game yet again. So as I say, you can make up your own batting lineup. It will change. Who comes in where, we'll find out. But they're great fun to watch with bat in hand, and I'll be interested to see how they go about it batting first this evening.
And the version that I was given by the scorers has Sunil Narain batting at 3.
Well, maybe he will. He, as I say, he opened in the first game, so he might fancy 3 tonight.
Glamorgan, one change with Callum Taylor replacing the injured Eddie Byram. We expect Taylor to bat at 3 with Kieran Carlson, the skipper, opening, and Tony Cotty of former Glamorgan and Sussex fame has been torn away from his provision of ice creams to the entire southeast of England and joined us in Cardiff tonight. Pleasure to have you on board again, Tony.
Yeah, cheers, Nick. Yeah, it's warmer down here, by the way, a lot warmer.
Right.
Yeah, which I don't think I've said in the 12, 13 years I've lived in Hove, to be fair, but it's, yeah, much warmer. But yeah, it's the same old when we used to play against Surrey. We used to look at their team sheet and think it was like playing against the Harlem Globetrotters, and you know, full of internationals, and nothing's changed here today. So, you know, the only thing you can say in Glamorgan's favour is they probably got 2 of the most informed batters in Chris Cook and Colin Ingram, and if they fire, then you know they can chase most targets. But great day, and looking forward. Mark's build up the Surrey batting lineup, so let's see what they've got in store for us.
Yeah, Glamorgan then line up with North East, Carlson, Taylor, Ingram, Cook, Root, Douthwaite, Hatzoglu, Smith, Sisodia and McIlroy. So in no way the bowling attack that you might have expected at the start of the season. Tim van der Hoogten is still out injured. Michael Neser, of course, is still retained by the Australians, despite the fact that they're not playing him in the current test against India. It'll be Jamie McIlroy to bowl to Will Jacks. Take it away, Mr. Church.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, and Laurie Evans is at the non-strikers end. Jason Roy injured himself in the warm-up before the first game against Middlesex. As I say, Narine opened for the game against Middlesex at Lords, and then Laurie Evans has been doing the job ever since. Made 52 in the game against Kent. Jacks has looked really good without making a big score as yet. What I would say about this Surrey batting lineup, when you look at it on paper, it looks very good, and they tend to go 100 miles an hour every delivery. So, as I say, very interesting to see how they go about this evening. McIlroy left arm over the wicket he comes into Will Jacks. First ball's on a length, and the right-handed Jacks is forward and plays this one solidly straight back up the pitch. And there is no run. The one thing I have noticed with Glamorgan from afar, Mr. Cotty, is they are obviously playing some very good T20 cricket at the moment, though.
Yeah, I think it was about 650 runs they scored the last 3 games, so, you know, batting power. But, yeah, they might be chasing a few if it's a good wicket today.
Jacks waits once again as McIlroy's into him. Back of a length, he's in behind this, just pushes it away out towards the sweeper on that cover boundary rope. Dan Duff waits out there, and Jacks is off the mark, and that brings Laurie Evans onto strike for the first time this evening on a beautiful night for T20 cricket. There's a massive dartboard away to our left behind the pavilion, I've just noticed. I think it's one of those Velcro ones that you can possibly put a Velcro suit and run up and jump onto it. There we are, Mr. Webb's looking very excited about that. But there's all sorts of entertainment for the kids this evening as Laurie Evans waits for McIlroy, and Evans just tucks this one away off his pads into the leg side. Should get a couple here. Does get a couple. And Laurie Evans moves on to 2, and Surrey in this first over move on to 3 without loss. I've noticed the other thing about Will Jacks tonight. He's wearing blue boots. Now, he's been wearing red boots. See, this is the thing these days. So, Surrey in their duck egg blue shirts, but Jacks may have been told he's got to wear matching boots. As in over the wicket comes McIlroy, forward goes Evans. They'll get a single. Just plays this one down to Sisodia. It's a good start this from McIlroy. Hitting good line, good length straight away.
Yeah, he swings at McIlroy, so, you know, a little bit watchful on there, you know, early on. Good view for us here, right behind the bowler's arm. But yeah, the one thing you hope when you Glamorgan, when we used to play against these kind of sides, was they hope that, you know, they leave it for each other. That's the one thing with Surrey. You hope if you get a couple of wickets, they all keep going hard at it.
McIlroy's into Jacks. Jacks works this one leg side. It's beautifully timed. Short mid-wicket was interested for a second, but it has fairly whistled off to the boundary rope for 4 runs. Lovely shot. Little uppish, but Tony Cotty, that's pure timing from Will Jacks.
Yeah, the ball seems to go a lot harder or quicker off the bat than I remember, to be fair, with the way they play now. But yeah, look, from where we're sat here, it looks a little bit green, the wicket, you know, and usually that means it comes on at Cardiff, so should be good for batting.
8 without loss in the first over. Surrey, final ball of that first over. McIlroy is into Jacks. Jacks drives again. That'll be 4 more. Over-pitched, and Jacks has climbed into that, and that has raced away over the extra cover boundary rope for 4. So after a tidy start, first 4 balls, couple of boundaries off the last 2, gets Surrey up and running. But a couple of lovely shots there from Will Jacks. 1 over gone, Surrey 12 without loss, and he fairly climbed into that final delivery of the over.
I mean, to be fair, you say, you know, try and get 12 and over without taking any risks. That over was pretty much 12 and over without taking any risks. There were 2 quality cricket shots, you know, one through mid-wicket, one through extra cover, and the rest were just bat on ball, weren't they? So good start from Surrey. No wickets down's key, and 12 in the bank already.
Glamorgan opening up with seam at both ends. They've been spin heavy in the opening overs in recent years, but have rethought that under Marker Lane, and Rory Smith will bowl to Laurie Evans from this Cathedral Road end, and the first delivery is run down to Sisodia's short third man, and there is no run. Glamorgan with a slip and a short third, and the outfielders are both square with the wicket. Square leg away to our right in front of the grandstand, and cover are the 2 outfielders permitted for the first 6 overs. 12 for naught Surrey. Smith into bowl, and good tight line, and Evans defends it to Carlson at cover and there is no run. Good to see Carlson out there after he dislocated his finger at Hove. And he's got even more strapping than he had before, but he says he's had trouble with that finger anyway.
That was one of the 3 or 4 catches that went down in the deep, wasn't it? That's one thing Glamorgan will be looking to put right the last couple of games. The fielding's been just a bit off, hasn't it?
It has. Carlson admitted it. As Smith bowls to Evans, who drives into the offside, but straight to point. 3 dot balls in a row. Carlson said maybe Glamorgan had got a bit complacent against Sussex when they were well on top. But no real excuse. Even if you're winning the game comfortably, you need to win it by as many as you can.
I don't think too many people look to drop catches, do they?
No.
You know, just switched off a little bit. But
12 for naught then. Good start from Smith. Evans on strike. Next delivery is again run down to short third man, and again there is no run. Well, not very often you see 4 dot balls in a row in this competition against an opening bat. Jacks has thrived in the competition this year. He's averaging 38 and a strike rate of 151. Laurie Evans averaged just under 20 and a strike rate of 136. Sam Curran and Tom Curran were 3 and 4 last time, but was suggested that Nareen might be up the order. As that is pulled away, that'll be a couple of runs at least on the leg side to Laurie Evans. It's stopped by Peter Hatzoglu, and as he retreated towards the mid-wicket boundary, and they've gone through for 2, 14 without loss. Last ball of Smith's over coming up. The blue-booted Jacks goes down for a suspicious prod, tipped by some to be a possible England spinning fill-in, having got 6 wickets in a test, but he's more a batter than a bowler with Jack Leach out. Moeen Ali in. Smith bowls down leg side. Oh, he's finished the over poorly as that's glanced away comfortably by Laurie Evans for 4 runs, so 6 off, and Surrey are 18 without loss after 2 overs here on BBC Sport Online.
yeah, so it's pretty poor end of the over there. He done so well for the first 5, but he built off the first 4 ball dots, and you could see the pressure mounting, and he got a poor shot out of Laurie Evans, squirted away for 2 there. And I remember back in the day, Peter Moores used to say in Championship to me that if you got 3 maidens, you had something like 70% chance more getting a wicket. It's like 2 balls in this, isn't it? You know, you can feel the pressure building and that, and yeah, good start though. You have to say good start from Smith.
Yeah, very good. Those first 4 deliveries were terrific to Laurie Evans. Will Jacks on strike for the start of the 3rd over. McElroy again, coming left arm over the wicket to Jacks. Jacks is forward, pushes out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. They'll pick up a single. 1 more to the total. Very busy, obviously, in Cardiff tonight because Coldplay are performing across the road again. So I wandered into Cardiff last night, regretted that, as 80,000 people were sort of going the other way to see Chris Martin and his band. As McElroy is over the wicket to Evans. Oh, now shout for LBW. He's looked to swing that over mid-wicket. It didn't look a bad shout, that, because Laurie Evans was trying to stick that in the pavilion, but nothing given. Length delivery, and Tony Cotty, Laurie Evans trying to stick that on the roof of the pavilion.
Yeah, I think maybe that the fact it was length meant that it needed to swing back, didn't it? You know, to the right hander. So maybe height had something to do with it as well. But it did look quite straight from where we were.
Yeah, it did indeed. But Laurie Evans was eyeing up that leg side boundary. Anything with length he'll go after as McElroy's into him, and this one he's punching off the back foot, beautifully timed, out there towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. The thing I've noticed these days in T20 cricket is that you see some beautiful shots for 1, don't you, with the sweepers out there. That was a gorgeous cricket shot for just 1.
Yeah, true. The ball flies off the bat now, doesn't it? And you know, that fear of failure that you used to have with red ball cricket back 15, 20 years ago, that's gone now. It's all about strike rates and making the most of each ball.
McElroy's in again, driving down the ground as Jacks takes the quick single up towards mid-off. So good start to this over as well. Key thing here is, can McElroy finish off the over, because his first 4 balls in the first over are excellent, and then a couple of boundaries. Saw the same with Rory Smith. Great first 4 balls, and then that 2 and the boundary off the last ball of the over. With the sun shining, McIlroy's over the wicket to Evans, and that's on a good length, and Evans just pushes this out into the offside, and they'll pick up another single. Watchful start this from Jackson Evans. Yes, we've had a couple of gorgeous shots from Will Jackson. Laurie Evans with that flick down to the boundary rope, but they're not going after everything here, and they're picking up these singles. Big old boundaries here as well at Sophia Gardens. Not straight, but either side of the wicket, big boundaries as Jax drives. Great placement. That'll swing the sweep around. He does very, very well with a diving, tumbling stop, does Dathwaite. He's in blue boots as well. They're all the rage. And the throw comes in.
He's ex-Surrey though, isn't he?
He is, yes. That is a very good point from you, Tony Cotty. Yes, indeed. So the ex-Surrey boy is wearing the blue boots as well, but a good over that.
Job locked,
McIlroy. Yeah, I would have thought so. It's these with Will Jacks these days. Of course, he's sort of played for England now and a bit of franchise cricket. But he was wearing red boots for the opening 5 games. I don't know whether someone said a word and said you've got to go blue with the shirt. But good over that. 3 gone and 24 without loss. So
you can't come down to the home of Welsh cricket in red boots, can he? At the end of the day.
So first over of spin of the match. Or slower bowling anyway, because Sisodia tends to fire them in. Left arm round the wicket to bowl to Laurie Evans. His outfielders are at mid-wicket and long on, so there's room to hit over the offside, and that is exactly what Laurie Evans does. Inside out, over cover, 4 runs up to the cricket school away to our left.
Yeah, top shot that was, and just give himself a bit of room, and as you said, inside out. It's I think they played really well so far, the Surrey boys. They've just picked the ball to hit so far and tried to get bat on ball, and it's turned into an excellent start.
28 for naught. Sisodia bowls, and again the attempt to hit through the offside. Scrambling stop by Colin Ingram, the senior member of the side, but getting down well and making sure it was just a single at mid-off.
Bit of a thankless task, isn't it, with 2 fielders out, bowling spin on a green wicket. You know, try to contain under 8 and over. Difficult job.
Sisodia trying to fire them in towards the batsman's pads probably. 29 for naught, 4th over here on BBC Sport Online. As Sisodia drops that one short, and I wasn't quite expecting it. Will Jackson just nudged it away on the leg side for a single.
Be interested to see how Jax plays Sisodia against Linda on Sunday. Linda bowled in one of those, and once he was in, he was basically checking them over long on for 6.
Sisodia bowls, again drags the length down, and Evans plays it to mid-wicket for a single. 31 without loss.
He's so strong, Will Jack. He hits it so hard. It doesn't need to be that short.
Next delivery, 2 Jacks on strike. Hit over cover for 4. Sisodia trying to fire it through just short of a length, and smacked away for 4 runs. 35 for naught.
Yeah, if it's not helping you as a spinner and you're not trying to bowl your best ball, i.e. trying to get a batter out, really once they've seen a sight of the pace and that, you know, they know it's not going to go outside your bat. You can start picking your areas where to hit, and yeah, it's looking easy pickings at the moment.
35 for naught, 11 off 5 balls. Sisodia to Jacks on 18 not out, and it's a better delivery, just turned on the leg side for a single to Douthwaite at mid-wicket. So 12 off, 36 for naught after 4 are Surrey.
Yeah, and to be fair, without really playing a shot in anger, it's been, you know, it's very controlled, I would say. 9 and over, and very controlled, and there's always over 5 and 6 where, you know, usually if 2 batters are in, one of them goes closer to 20 than 10, and I fully expect that off one of these overs.
Yeah, exactly. The word I was thinking is controlled from these 2 at the top. Just saw the way these 2 will go against Sisodia as well. Evans does love that inside out over extra cover shot, and then as I mentioned, Jacks, if it's short, he'll go over the covers or down towards long on. Now Dan Douthwaite is into the attack. Strong boy, this one. Big old shoulders. Down below us, and it's the same down there at the river. It's Cathedral Road End, where they've all put their markings down with the yellow spray paint. It's like a maths equation below us. There's Dathwaite comes right arm over the wicket in his blue boots to Will Jackson, his blue boots, and the battle of the blue boots for the first delivery might be won by Will Jacks because he's opened the face, guided this down towards third man. It's a great chase from Sisodia, but they'll pick up 3, and Jacks moves on to 22. And Surrey, nice start this, 39 without loss. I suppose the other thing here is Surrey have sort of gone at it this season in the T20 with the bat, but if these two can lay a platform with what's to come as well, they against Kent they got off to a good start, and then Jacks got out and absolutely livid with himself. But as you say, Tony Cotty, this has been very controlled so far.
Yeah, one thing I would say, you talk about a maths equation for those yellow markings. They look like 2 or 3 yellow submarines to me. That shows how our minds work, really, doesn't it?
In over the wicket comes Dathwaite, and now that just climbed a bit on Laurie Evans. He was looking to punch outside the off stump, beat the edge, first one that's beaten the edge, and taken by Cook off his feet, going away to his right hand side.
It looks a really good wicket, doesn't it? You know, it's a bit of carry, a bit of pace in it, which is brilliant for batting because that white ball doesn't do too much after a couple of overs are gone, and they're done now. So yeah, good position for Surrey here to kick on.
Dathwaite runs towards us. Right arm over the wicket he comes to Laurie Evans, and again Evans flashes at this one. It didn't bounce as much on Laurie Evans, and that's taken by Cook. That goes past the bottom edge of Evans's bat. The other thing I would use for all the markings for the bowlers is a complete mess down there below us.
Well, we've got the markings from the women's match earlier on there as well.
What a
the orange ones.
That's why there are so many down there.
Yeah.
It's like modern art. As Dathwaite is in over the wicket to Evans, he's gone again for the cut shot, and it's bounced on him, and it's taken by Cook. Good pace from Dathwaite. Laurie Evans just stands there, so that's 3 in 3. He's leaning back on this, is Laurie Evans. If he edges that, it's just going to fly towards third man, and that's taken again, rising on Cook. So good pace from Dathwaite. So where does Evans go now? Where does Dathwaite go now? Good over so far. Dathwaite goes wider of the crease to Evans. Oh dear, that's not where he wanted to be bowling it. Right on the pads from wide of the crease, and that's help yourself for Laurie Evans, and he does help himself and flicks it away behind square for 4. Evans on to 21, 43 without loss.
Yeah, there's those 3 dot balls again that build in the pressure, and he's just basically giving it away there, isn't he? It's a poor ball in any form of cricket. You know, you'd be hoping to put that away for 4. But Laurie Evans, one thing he would say, a negative, a lot of dot balls from him so far, probably about 7 or 8.
Yep. As Dathwaite comes in over the wicket to Evans, and Evans this time forces off the back foot, and that'll go away for 4. So tried that 3 times, missed 3 times. Last one didn't miss, didn't try and hit it too hard, just helped it between the backward point and the short third. And again, what we were saying, good first 4 balls, then a couple of boundaries off the last 2, 5 gone, and Surrey ticking along at 47 without loss.
Yeah, bad end to all the overs so far. You know, as you said, he built the pressure early doors in each over, and then buffet ball, you know, 4 runs, and then you get your justice. I think that last ball is probably how Laurie Evans should have played the 2 or 3 that he flashed at, because with third man up, you know, you get value for shots down there.
So it'll be a second over for Rory Smith, who bowled the second. Sisodia bowled the 4th from this Cathedral Road end. Respectable crowd despite the counter attractions and the traffic problems. They're hoping to get loads of school kids in. There are a few hundred up in the jellyfish stand away to our left next to the pavilion, as Smith bowls and hits Jacks on the pads. But I'm told that given the travel difficulties in Cardiff with the concert, that a load of schools pulled out, so maybe not quite as many kids.
It was a nightmare yesterday getting into Cardiff.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling it could be a nightmare this evening getting out of Cardiff.
Quite so. And Chris Martin, a cricket fan as well.
He is.
47 for naught. Smith to Jacks, and he dabs that one towards backward point. Single taken, fielded by Root, sweeping the offside boundary in front of the pavilion. Well, I went and saw this particular show in Wembley last year. If I'd known they were coming to Cardiff, I could have saved the train fare, couldn't I?
You get it free at your age, don't you? Or concession.
I don't
anyway.
think it comes with a bus pass, actually. I've got a bus pass. Will that get me in free to the Principality?
Were you waving your phone around? Nick West?
I'll show you the pictures later if you want.
Lovely.
As Smith is into bowl 2, Jacks, who mishits that one towards mid-on, doesn't carry to Hatzoglu as he went for something of a slog. 48 for naught in the sunshine.
I feel he's missed out a little bit there. Laurie Evans likes it there, going over the leg side.
Surrey none down, so plenty of licence to swing if it's not usually there anyway. Smith bowled, down the wicket, edged, and Cook got a hand to it somehow, parried it away. He's saved a couple of runs. Laurie Evans threw the kitchen sink at that one, and it was almost the catch of a lifetime from Chris Cook.
Yeah, the bounce, wasn't it? It was a bounce as well. It's popping through. The odd one is fizzing through, and he's down the wicket to that, and yeah, top of the bounce.
That's top right-hand corner of the net, and
did take a step to his left, didn't he, Chris Cook, just beforehand, you know?
He's pushed it round for a corner if he were a football keeper. Couldn't quite cling on. 50 for naught. Smith in bowls, inside out over cover, and that one just pitches inside the ropes. It's run away for 4. Umpire Blackwell swings the left arm gently, and Surrey are on fire. 54 for naught.
Yeah, this again building a little bit of pressure. He's bowled well, Rory Smith, this over, to be fair, but you know, no luck so far, and the longer you go with those 10 overs in the bank, you know, the big scores are looming.
Laurie Evans, experienced guy, 35 years old. Smith in, bowls to him. He's hit this one up in the air. Will that carry to the field? It's a difficult catch. No, it doesn't carry. And it'll be a couple of runs to square leg as North East came in off the boundary but couldn't get to it, and in the end just had to slide in and try and block it with his body. Awful sort of length of a catch. 56 for naught then after the power play, and that is ominous for Glamorgan, powerful for Surrey.
Was that a bit harsh to say he moved quite slowly for that at the start? I'm not so sure whether he saw it and whether there's still some sun he's looking into over that side, but he looked a little bit slow off the mark for that, because it ended up just on the edge of the square, and to be fair, that's 20 yards to come in and make an effort, but in the end couldn't get anywhere near it.
That's the side the sun is, isn't it? Coming sort of over the back of the pavilion, so I wonder if he did just struggle to pick that up. So Hatzoglu is into the attack, so spin again for the 7th overs. That's a pretty good power play for Surrey. Controlled power play that for Surrey. 56 without loss they are. Laurie Evans loves that inside out over extra cover shot. So Hatzoglu with this fantastic build up, the arms and legs going everywhere, and he's in, and it's a quicker first up delivery, and forward goes Jacks, and it's pushed out into the offside. They'll take the single, and Jacks will move on to 24. 57 without loss. I could watch Hatzoglu all day before he bowls the ball.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is it's like a footballer who wears, you know, gold boots. If you've got all those mannerisms and people look at it all, that you've got to deliver, you've got to deliver, haven't you?
But it's an extraordinary build up, and then, as I say, arms and legs go absolutely everywhere. He's in, and this one's driven by Laurie Evans. Bump ball straight to extra cover, crowd catch. They've enjoyed that in the crowd. Straight into the turf again, and up again. So Glue gets ready once again. It's almost like he's sitting down when he starts and spins it in his fingers, then over the wicket he comes, and Laurie Evans is slog sweeping. How much of this has he got? One bounce and away for 4. Billy Root was interested out there at deep backward square, but he got enough on it, did Laurie Evans, and away for 4 it goes. Evans is on to 37, and he didn't get all of it but got enough of it.
Yeah, Billy Root, similar position. Last game dropped 2 at Hove, didn't he, out there? So I mean, I would say his heart was in his mouth, but he'll be wanting that first chance to stick tonight.
Waits again, does Evans, on 37. This time he's just working the ball down towards short. Fine. And they will pick up a single. Jacks comes back onto strike on 24. So Jacks 24 from 14 deliveries. Evans 38 from 26. 7th over, 62 without loss, Surrey. So Glue gets ready once again. Comes in over the wicket to Will Jacks. Jacks looking to work leg side, shout for LBW to the googly. Not getting that. And a shake of the head. Down there at the river end. Ian Blackwell is out there at square leg, the formidable figure of Mr. Ian Blackwell.
They haven't changed much since his playing days.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. As Jacks waits once again. Final ball of the over. It's been a pretty good one this so far. And now that one, trying to whip it leg side was Will Jacks. That's hit Cook. And that's a really good final delivery of the over. Fizzed it. Jacks has gone back to try and whip this leg side. It's gone between bat and pad and just hit Cook. End of the over, 7 gone. And a pretty tidy first over there from the leg spinner.
Yeah, you say leg spinner. I don't think too much of it's ever going to spin with the pacey bowls and the trajectory. To be honest, the trajectory he bowls with is a little bit like Anil Kumble used to bowl, and they used to look to play him like an in-swing bowler. You know, because he just run you in and try and do you for pace, and that's exactly what he's doing every game so far, yeah?
Here's an extra option for Glamorgan then. Callum Taylor coming into the side to replace Eddie Byram, but he'll bowl a bit of off-spin from this Cathedral Road end. Callum Taylor, the best in this competition of 2 for 9. Newport born, but learned much of his cricket in Australia before returning home to make a career here. Has been a little unlucky in the amount of cricket he's played over the last couple of years for the first team, in my opinion. Had a good run for the seconds without quite making it through, as his first ball is driven up towards long off by Evans for a single. 63 for naught.
Nice day to come on and bowl, isn't it? 63 off 7. And to be fair, these two quite formidable with the bat in hand, so a short boundary straight. What's not to love?
Comes around the wicket to bowl to Jacks. Outside off stump, flat batted, up towards long off, 1 bounce to Colin Ingram, who opted for safety there, sitting back and taking it on the first bounce.
I suppose the way Glamorgan are batting, though, they bat themselves to chase anything at the moment.
Taylor bowls. Whoa. That's a big shot up towards mid-wicket, and it has cleared them by about 10 metres. As Evans swung hard and gets a maximum. 64 becomes 70.
Yeah, I think the thing with Glamorgan's batting lineup, though, they are pretty reliant on 2 players at the moment, and you know, a couple of others before they come in have got to come to the party, I think.
Next delivery, hit inside out, over cover. Will this carry? It will to the boundary as Root leaps in vain. It is another maximum, this time on the offside, and well, poor old Callum Taylor is being absolutely blitzed in this first over. 1166 as Evans reaches his 50 off 29 deliveries. As next delivery hit along the ground up towards long on Douthwaite Fields. Well, if Evans hasn't been in huge nick so far in the competition, he certainly is now.
He looked getting back to his he hasn't looked in bad nick at all, but he made 50 in the last game. He's looked very good tonight. That was a one-handed 6 over extra cover.
77 for naught. Taylor bowls. Jacks hits it off the back foot up to long off for a single. Ingram with the fielding there. 78 for naught. 16 off Callum Taylor's over. At the Oval, by the way, Australia finished on 327 for 3 in that World Final against India, with Steve Smith 95 not outs and Travis Head 146 not out. Glamorgan's Marnus Labuschagne was bowled by Shami for 26. Warner 43, Khawaja naught, the other wickets to fall, but Australia firmly on top at the Oval in that 6-day test match.
Yeah, I may be in danger here of getting you flooded on social media about this comment, Mr. Webb, but they've had a shocker there with winning the toss and sticking Australia in and then not playing Ashwin as Sodia is in. coming round the wicket from the river end to bowl this, the ninth over, and that's tucked away by the right-handed Jacks down towards short fine, and there's no run. Just reading and seeing a little bit, apparently the Dukes didn't swing that much, looked a bit green, but they have been this season at the Oval. They've been good pitches to bat on, as this is tucked away by Will Jacks, just drifting onto his pads, and that's going to run away down towards the fine leg boundary rope for 4. And Jacks will move on to 30, and Surrey move on to 82 without loss.
Yeah, margins of error here are very small. As I said, the ball is sliding on this green pitch, and he's trying to run it in from off stump onto a middle and leg stump to stop Jacks freeing his arms, and thick inside edge there for 4. So yeah, it's tough for the bowlers at the moment.
Good start this from Surrey now. Sisodia is in, and he tosses that one up wide of the off stump, driven by Jacks down towards long off. They'll pick up the single, one more to the total. But actually, looking at that pitch for this Test Championship final, it looked like a typical over wicket. A little bit on top, but good pace, good bounce, and bit there. But if you can get in huge runs, as this one's swept away by Laurie Evans out towards deep backward square, and they will pick up a single. Evans moves on to 53, 84 without loss. You see, that's the thing. Smith going to Sussex, Tony Cotty, it's got, you know, he wouldn't have got a run had he not done that. Honestly. As in round the wicket comes Sisodia once again, and this one's pulled by Will Jacks all the way for 6. Just a bit too short, and Will Jacks just muscles it really over Billy Root at deep backward square and away for 6. But Sisodia there really has dragged that one down the leg side and put away by Will Jacks, who's on to 37, and Surrey move on to 90 without loss. Evans wants new gloves, I think, from the dugout. Sisodia's in again, and this one's just turned. That's good batting from Will Jacks, the 6, and then just the single out there towards deep mid-wicket. End of the over then, and end of me. Fionn Wynn's coming in to join Nick Webb and Tony Cotty, but 9 gone, and Surrey in a healthy position. They are 91 without loss.
Do you think it's a bad time to say that Travis Head has been down Sussex as well, having nets before?
Well,
because that was the case.
Yeah, well, no, that's fine. I just that whole argument that Steve Smith wouldn't make runs in England had he not played for Sussex. Deary me. Anyway, I'm off. Bye bye.
Mark Church will be back in 4 or 5 overs time for the benefit of BBC Radio London listeners to replace me. Fionn Wynn will be here for the rest of this first innings, and it will be Dan Douthwaite to bowl from this Cathedral Road end. Fielders spread far and wide on the leg side. Surrey 91 for naught. Jacks on strikes on 38 for once, playing slightly second fiddle, as Evans has received a few more, but Jacks is striking at about 160 anyway. Douthwaite in to bowl to Jacks. That's outside leg stump, tries to turn it away, but it's a wide, no contact made. So 4 leg side fielders on the ropes. Glamorgan is slightly on the ropes at the moment if they don't put the brakes on somehow by taking wickets. Offside field, 1 on the ropes, 4 up in the circle. Douthwaite to Jacks, plays it into that leg side. They'll look for 2 here. Callum Taylor will try to prevent them, slips slightly as he fields, and they're safely back for 2, 94 for naught.
Yeah, it's a tough field to bowl to, because you've got backward point and short third man, and you've got to bowl straight, hence the wide, the first ball. So he's got very tight margins here, Dan Douthwaite, to bowl to.
And he comes to bowl to Jacks, short ball, and Jacks decides not to take it on, and the umpire says that was just about not leg side-ish, as Jacks just swayed out of the way. Yeah, that's just about over leg stump, I think.
So just about over his head.
Just about over his head. Might have been called a no ball, but it wasn't. Douthwaite to Jacks again. Drives hard through the offside for 4 runs. This really is a sublime display of batting at the moment.
Yeah, it's to be fair, you'd have to say there's not been a huge amount of frantic cricket from Surrey to get to over 10 and over, and they just picked out the balls. In fact, it's been far more controlled than I thought it would be, and it's ominous for Glamorgan, because every time they try to hit the 4 or play a relatively big shot, it's fizzing to the boundary. So yeah, big score coming, I think.
Douthwaite to Jacks, lobs it up towards mid-wicket. Would have been a catch had there been anyone in the circle, but the nearest field is about 70 metres away on that side of the field. 99 for naught, Jacks 45 not out. This could be a day where you're searching for the record books if Surrey keep going at this rate. As Douthwaite looks down at his feet. What's he waiting for?
Doesn't look too good, does it?
Looks as though he's
stretching his side.
Last thing Glamorgan needs now is another injury, with the problems that they've had. Oh no,
this isn't good.
He's strained something down Douthwaite. He throws the ball down in disgust, and Dan Douthwaite will be out of the attack, having bowled just 10 balls out of his allocation, and someone else will have to bowl the last 2. That'll be Kieran Carson, the skipper. But Dan Douthwaite is the latest Glamorgan casualty by the look of it.
That doesn't look so good, because it I'm not 100% from up here, but it looks like a side muscle. Maybe that's what it looked like, because he started to run and he just pinched his side. There's no ways you're going to bowl through with that. But yeah, one injury after the other.
Yeah, he just took about 2 steps, didn't he, and then said that was enough, and he's.
To be fair,
mine,
199 for naught. I don't blame him.
Tactical injury.
Yeah, that's me done.
And now Kieran Carlson has the very unenviable job of having to bowl the last 2 balls of his over.
So that's likely to be another change for Friday.
It's better than bowling all 6, though, isn't it? If you're looking for some crumbs.
There is that.
He got 2 wickets at Hove. Here he comes to bowl. Hits over point, sliced away. I don't think that's going to run to the boundary. It's a long chase for Billy Root. They might try 3. No, it's not Root out there, since the throw is right arm. Well, it might be Root. He can operate with both. 101 for naught then, Surrey. 100 up in the 10th over. Half of the innings remaining. Carlson bowls short, hit up towards long on and just wide of the fielder for 6 as Callum Taylor came round. If that had been just a little bit squarer than Taylor, might have been in business, but that is an incredible first half of the innings for Surrey, for Jacks and Evans. Jacks has 45, Evans has 61, and Surrey 107 for naught at halfway.
Right, I've got a question. If you were Glamorgan, how much would you be happy to be defending now?
Well,
200?
If they can get 200, if they can keep them at 10 over, no wickets down. They've got going at 10s, like you said earlier, pretty easily without really breaking a sweat. So with 10 wickets in hand, you think go for? I mean, you say go for it. It's remarkable to say they haven't been going for it yet when they're at 10 and over. So if they can keep them to 190, 200, that would be a spectacular effort. But with 10 wickets in hand, it's go time now, really, isn't it? And they've got some ridiculous hitting power to come, which is wouldn't want to be bowling in this in this situation. Let's just put it that way.
How about a bit of leg spin? That'll do. That's bound to be cheap.
As Hatzoglu comes back into attack, bowled well in his first over, went for just 6, and do very well to keep them down to a runner ball. He's in to Will Jacks on 45, and that's just tucked nicely off his pads for a single down to square leg. 5 more of those, and he'll be very lucky.
Yeah, glad I said Glamorgan. I think they scored 650 runs in their last 3 T20s. Which averages, what's that, 215, 220. I think they'll be needing more than that, to be honest. It looks very ominous.
Yeah, sorry, 108 for none. Just after the 10th over. Hatzoglu is in, and that is launched over mid-wicket and into the stands for 6 more. That was absolutely crunched by Laurie Evans, who moves on to 61. Fielders didn't even bother moving. Bowler didn't even bother looking. That was 6 the second it hit the bat.
You'd have to say, I think that's cleared the rope by about 50 yards by the time that would have bounced. I think it's hit the top tier. And the thing with Hatzoglu is that he bowls the same pace and he doesn't look to spin it. It's all about skidding it on and trying to do people, for pace, if you like. And once they got the measure, I mean, as I said, ominous is what I keep using at the moment.
In with the reply now, and he's gone again for the slug sweep. There was not much of an appeal there. All I can think was there was some bat on there because that looked... No, given leg buys. Not much of an appeal. Must have been outside the line. But they run through for the single. Takes Surrey on to 115 for none. Will Jacks on 46, 1 hit away from his half century. Evans at the other end on 67. Hatzoglu spins the ball ferociously through his hands, and he's in now. Another slog sweep, and he's given. Will Jacks tried to repeat Laurie Evans' shot from earlier in the over with the slog sweep, and is trapped in front by a ball that just skidded on really from Hatzoglu. And Glamorgan have their first breakthrough. Jacks departs for 46 from 29 balls. He looks frustrated, but that one looked pretty straight. Umpire didn't hesitate to give that one. Surrey 115 for 1 in the 11th over.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. He has been starved a bit of the strike, funnily enough. Laurie Evans has taken a lot of dot balls. Don't get me wrong, he's still firing, I'm sure, at over 150. But I think Jacks, when he likes to be hitting lots of balls, and I think he's been starved a little bit throughout this, and that's good for Glamorgan, because I think of all the batters in that Surrey team, he's the one that you'd think, if he has his day, scores the quickest. Yeah,
and there's not a bad player coming in at number 3 either. And Sam Curran joins Laurie Evans, who launched that 6 earlier in the over, and I think that was just what Will Jacks was trying to repeat, really, with the straight ball, as you said, not spinning. Just a little bit early on the shot, a little bit premeditated. So it'll be Sam Curran, the left-handed bat now. Another thing for the bowlers to have to comprehend, to face his first ball. And Glamorgan have gone on the attack and brought a slip in straight away, so confident that 1 wicket can bring 2 balls left in the 11th over. Sam Curran assesses the field, ready for his first ball. Hatzoglu skips in. Sam Curran cuts off the back foot out to deep cover for a single, gets himself off the mark. Surrey move on to 116 for 1. That brings Laurie Evans back on strike from 67.
Yeah, it's all about wickets this game. It will, hopefully just take the edge off a little bit for Glamorgan, but partnerships are everything, aren't they? Once these two get going again, obviously 10 and over's back on.
Hatzoglu is in, and Evans drives up to long on for a single, so moves the score to 117 for 1. Evans keeps the strike on to 68. 11 overs gone, and Peter Hatzoglu with Glamorgan's breakthrough at last.
Yeah, that last ball from Hatzoglu is one of the first balls over the last 3 games I've seen him that actually dragged someone forward. He's got that skiddy action that slides on, and I'm sure that people just tee him up after a little while and feel the pace that he's going to bowl and kind of know where it's coming. Who's coming on here now? I think
this must be a replacement for Dan Douthwaite.
Taylor's back.
Taylor's on.
Yeah. Zainul Hassan is on subfielder for Dan Douthwaite.
Taylor is in to bowl to Laurie Evans, who hits him up towards long off and will take just the single. 117, 118 for 1. Sam Curran takes strike from umpire Blackwell. I like 2 umpires of distinctly different builds. You don't get them mixed up, and Mr. Blackwell is rather larger than Mr. Paul Baldwin at square leg. 118 for 1.
They must have liked what they saw in that first over of Callum Taylor, went for 16.
Yes, but without Douthwaite, we need to find some overs, as that's a low full toss, and driven by Curran up towards Ul Hassan, the subfielder at long off, single taken, 119 for 1. Callum Taylor wearing the obligatory shades, and for once they're justified on a very sunny evening in Cardiff. In he comes to bowl to Laurie Evans, and that one has gone through, and possibly for 4 byes. Yeah, the slide by...
Got a nick. No, he got a nick.
Got it?
Yeah, he got a nick.
Oh, right. So he's doing Chris Cook a disservice. A skinny little nick from Laurie Evans. Has run away for 4 down towards third man. And... that's off the finger of the gloves, I think. Chris Cook will regret that one, especially as the next ball is belted into the crowd at long off. Up and over it goes, and dropped by someone about 4 rows back, away to our left. How harsh are we going to be on Chris Cook there, Tony?
Can't be too harsh on that, because I think it was a decent nick on it, and he was on the top of the bounce, so you know, it would have been a good take even if he hadn't hit it, because it did bounce. But
next ball hammered towards long on for 4 more, and Laurie Evans is absolutely running riot at the moment.
This is a tough ask for Callum Taylor, bowling off spin on this, part time at best, with Laurie Evans firing here on 83. You know, as I said before, you bowl 1 for 16. I suppose it's desperation stakes with Dan Douthwaite injured.
Next delivery swept down towards fine leg, and well, both batters set off initially, but there was no run. It's 133 for 1, 16 again off Callum Taylor's second over. This is difficult stuff for a young man to take, and Surrey really are looking towards another 100 off 8, 230 sort of territory, I would suggest.
Well, I'm going to show off my maths here. 133, 12 11s, 132, isn't it? So that's not bad. Is it old school? That's what they used to teach you in the 70s.
Mental maths.
But yeah, so that's 220.
That's a lot of 99s, Tony.
Correct. No one diddles me out of change, mate. 250, 250.
Going big.
I reckon it's going to be close to 250.
That'll be a challenge for Glamorgan for sure, as much as they are batting well at the moment. Anything over 10 and over is an extremely daunting task, as Rory Smith comes back into attack. He's bowled 2 overs, none for 15 so far, so pretty economically compared to some of the other figures we've seen, as he's in now to left-handed Sam Curran, who dabs one down to third off the back foot. Looks like Sam Curran is happy to just give the strike to Laurie Evans, and why not? He's on 83 from 41.
Yeah, Rory Smith has bowled his best ball all the time as well, which you don't always see in T20 cricket. He hasn't bowled much change-ups or anything. He's just tried to hit the top of off, and he's bowled pretty well, hasn't he?
Yeah, just stick to basics, especially when you're so up against it, as he's in again to Laurie Evans. Full delivery, clipped nicely out to long on, but just for a single, so solid start to the over again from Rory Smith, just sticking to that full length.
I had a fascinating chat with Graham Ungans about that, who's obviously now coaching at Lancashire, and I said, you know, what's your philosophy bowling coach? And he said, I just want them to hit the top of the off stump, have a stock delivery, then I'll teach them all the clever stuff after that. But if they haven't got that, then we're going to struggle, and that's exactly what Smith has done here.
So he's around the wicket now. It's the left-handed Curran, who attempts to pull but doesn't quite get hold of it, and just trickles out to mid-on. Callum Taylor comes around again, another single, so 3 balls, 3 singles. If Smith can get out of the over here, he'll feel a lot better indeed. Yeah. But bowling to a man on 84 from 42 balls, certainly not easy. Surrey 136 for 1 in the 13th over. Smith is in, and slower ball, and that'll be called a wide. Just as you were saying, he was doing the basics so well, and kind of, you know, tying Surrey down as much as you can with this score. Attempts a variation, and it goes wide.
Yeah, I think his first 2 overs as well, he bowled really well first 4 balls and leaked a couple of boundaries at the end on one, and a boundary last ball. So he's trying to get 6 together, isn't it? You're overthinking at times, and certainly that one was wide, to be fair.
So Smith will have to bowl an extra delivery. and that's well bowled. Good recovery, full Yorker. They sneak through for a single. Again, just sticking to those basics. Smith. Another single to Laurie Evans. Surrey to 138 for 1.
I think for Surrey to get up around that 250 mark, I think it's important that Laurie Evans keeps going, though. I think, he's the guy that 85 or 43 deliveries, if he can get past 100 and keep going, then everyone else will just bat round him.
Smith now over the wicket to the left-handed Sam Curran. Short ball slashed by Curran for 4. Down to third for another boundary. There was a deep third, but he had absolutely no chance because Sam Curran absolutely launched into that. Too wide from Rory Smith. Help yourself. Surrey accelerate to 142 for 1. 1 ball left in this 13th over.
Gave himself a little bit of room there, didn't he, Sam Curran?
Yeah,
He
smart
took that off the
batting.
top of middle stump over the top of backward point for 4.
Just the right length to cut as Smith is in, and Yorker on leg stump is clipped by Curran out to deep mid-wicket for a single. So Curran keeps the strike. He's on to 9. Sorry, 143 for 1 after 13 overs.
Yeah, so again, it just leaked at the end, didn't it? The wide, the 4 and that, and when you're not taking regular wickets, it's very difficult for a bowling side to contain. And the only thing that's going to keep, I think, Surrey under 230 here is if there's a few wickets, a cluster of wickets, and as you said, Laurie Evans being the main one, because you want 2 new batters in now just to put the handbrake on a little bit.
What'll be interesting, and I'm sure actually Glamorgan Mark Lane might well do this, is to add up the number of runs off the last couple of balls of each over, basically, and see what that, it would add up to quite a bit. There's been quite a few boundaries off the last couple of balls of overs.
What would you do then? You'd go on to the umpires and ask if we could only bowl 5 ball overs?
Yeah, I'd ask. Can we bowl 4 ball overs,
Just-
please?
please.
We've come up with this great tactic, if that's all right with everybody. We're only going to bowl 4 ball overs, but Sam Curran will be the man on strike. Sisodia it will be. Left arm round the wicket to Sam Curran, starting the 14th over. This is a shot from Sam Curran, up and over the top of extra cover for 6. So Sisodia has just pushed it wide, and Sam Curran has just swung his arms through it, and it has soared away. It's a long old carry out there as well, over extra cover for 6. And saying that Laurie Evans has got to stay there and get his 100 and everybody else bats round him, the thing is, you've got people like Sam Curran batting round him as well. That is a heck of a shot from Sam Curran, it really is.
That was not a shot of a man who's just happy to give him the single, is it?
Absolutely not. As Sisodia comes around the wicket to him again, that's short, and Curran will just nudge this into the leg side. They're thinking about 2. Great running, great cricket from Sam Curran and Laurie Evans. Hammered the first and came back very easily for the second. That's very good cricket from those 2. And the 150 up for Surrey, 151 for 1 in the 14th.
Yeah, I just think with the slow bowlers at times, unless you get up above, the odd couple of balls up above and try and beat the batsman with your best ball, it becomes very samey. And, as I said, you just whack that over extra cover. It's very flat, and you can just stick your hands through it.
Sisodia into Sam Curran. Curran drives down towards long off. Just be a single here. Taylor is down there. Callum Taylor felt for Dan Duthwaite. I really did. Poor lad. He knew something had happened. Just rolled the ball back in frustration. And the saddest thing was watching it on the stream. As he walked off, he took his sweatband off his left wrist, his yellow sweatband, and just put it in his mouth and bit down on it. I think as much out of frustration as anything. As Laurie Evans back on strike here. Here he goes down the pitch, hammers this. Taylor should get across. Oh, little misfield, just took a bit of a bobble on him. It'll only be a single as the throw comes in, and that'll move Laurie Evans on to 86. Back onto strike comes Sam Curran in his red boots. He's kept the red boots tonight, Sam Curran. We saw Will Jacks change to blue. Sam Curran's stuck with the red. As this is just swung a short ball out into the leg side by Sam Curran. Even bend at the knees there, Sam Curran just swung it into the leg side. Picks up a single. Sam Curran moves on to 19, 154 for 1. We said in the opening game against Middlesex, you could tell that Sam Curran had been playing in the IPL when he batted. He was immediately timing everything. Sisodia is into Laurie Evans. Well bowled. Laurie Evans was giving himself a little bit of room to go over extra cover. Just pushed it a bit wider. He looked to cut, beat the edge. Nicely taken by Cook. So good last ball of the over from Sophia. 14 overs have gone, and Surrey are 154 for 1, so 11 off that over. Now it gets interesting with 6 to go. One batsman set, and Sam Curran looking a bit perky, I think it's fair to say, tonight.
Yeah, I just, even that over, 11 went off that over, but it didn't really feel as if it was a shot in anger. And I think with 9 wickets in hand, we'll see some fireworks here, I think.
Yeah, Hatzoglu, the 1 wicket taker so far. He's going to bowl his 3rd over. He's got 1 for 15, so again economical, but be interesting to see if Sam Curran, as a left-hander, tries to have a go at this over, the 15th.
He's magnificent to watch, isn't he?
He is. He's captivating.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Kind of twirls his arms, twirls the ball, and Sam Curran, nope, happy to just dab a single 2. Long on, 155 for 1. He starts like he's almost about to sprint, like crouched.
Yeah.
Does about 20 tosses of the ball from hand to hand.
I bet he was a right old fidget at school as a kid, because
it must be distracting,
it's
though.
constant, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
it
all
is.
part of his build-up, but
Yeah, definitely.
spins the ball a couple of times, looks like he's about to sit down, and his arms go everywhere.
He twirls in now, and well bowled again as Laurie Evans dabs. They're going to come back for 2. Yes, they are. Oh, the fumble. That just shows what setting off for the first run can do to a fielder. This is a fumble out there at deep mid-wicket. They come back for 257 for 1. Evans on to 88. Still just 3 from the 2 balls so far. Laurie Evans will be eyeing a boundary, I'm sure, as Hatzoglu is in. And that's pitched up outside. Off stump, that's driven beautifully for 4 past the diving extra cover, but that was timed beautifully by Laurie Evans, who moves into the 90s now, 92. And we said he was eyeing a boundary, and he latched onto that whip there from Hatzoglu. Sorry, move on to 161 for 1. What will Hatzoglu do in reply now, as he's in? Straighter delivery. Laurie Evans happy to take the single to long on.
So I would say the interesting thing with Hatzoglu is that he does all the mannerisms before, but when he starts his run, he still throws it into his left hand and then back into his right. Usually spinners are very, very fussy about their grip. But if you watch, he actually starts his run and throws it into his left hand, and then it goes into his bowling hand.
Keeps going. As he's into Sam Curran now, who dabs into the offside for a single.
Yeah, Laurie Evans is now 7 runs away from what would be a first 100 for Surrey in T20 cricket. Hasn't made one for Surrey in T20.
He's made 2 T20 hundreds before. But it would be, he's on 93 now. Sorry, 163 for 1. Last ball of the 15th over. And he's had a wild heave at that. I'm not sure if he got an edge on it or not. But they've just run a single. Yep, just the single past the keeper. That can't have been too far away. I'm not sure if there's a chance. It's a extremely tough one if it was.
It's the googly that's turned.
Oh, it's gone right over his shoulder. No chance.
Yeah, I think they were appealing, well, not appealing, but it didn't miss the stumps by much, I don't think.
Evans keeps the strike then. He has 94 after 15 overs. Surrey 164 for 1.
Yeah, from memory, he got one in the Sri Lankan T20.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a domestic one, possibly for the Bears or for Sussex.
Did he?
For Sussex, yeah, but he's never got one for Surrey, and he's 6 runs away as Sophia is into him. Oh, he might have one now. He's gone down the ground. Oh, he's dropped. Oh, he's dropped down at long off. Oh, just for a second, Laurie Evans' heart would have been in his mouth. It's the captain, Mr. Carson. He got around to it, but down it went. It's a life for Laurie Evans, and he moves on to 95.
Yeah, that was a comfortable catch, wasn't it? You have to ask the question. Obviously, Kieran's had issues with his finger, dislocating it last game, and maybe he was just favouring it into the other hand.
He's got a bit on his mind as well, as Sophia is in, and Sam Curran just swings this. Well, that is absolutely dismissive from Sam Curran. He's just stood up straight and then just swung it over the leg side for 6. And that really was, you bowl there, you're gone. And it was short from Sisodia, but
it's flat again, isn't it? Right, you know, there's no up and down at all in this. You know, it's flat. And if you under or pitch it short, you get pulled, and if you just go a little bit fuller, it's flat. You get hit over extra cover. It's
on to 27 now. Sam Curran. Sisodia's in. This time he's gone down the ground. That's 6 more. Sam Curran, that's got into the crowd. Gentleman takes evasive action. Then it hits a chair, comes back, and also almost hits a poor gentleman minding his own business in the front row. But again, it's a lovely clean strike of the cricket ball from Sam Curran. And Sisodia's got a big issue now because he's gone short and been launched. Gave that one a little bit more air and has been launched. And Curran's on to 33 now from 14 deliveries, and Surrey are 177 for 1 in the 16th. Sisodia is in, quicker ball and beats the edge. Sam Curran was trying to launch that one straight down the ground and taken by Cook. Just gives Evans a little bit of a breather down at the non-striker's end on 95, Laurie Evans. Curran waits once again, left-handed of course. Sisodia's into him, he's down the pitch, he's gone again, straight down the ground for 6. That's a really good shot because Sisodia saw him coming, pushed it wider, and Sam Curran has just flat batted it straight back down the ground and onto the side screen. That's a great bit of batting from Sam Curran.
It's just flat though, isn't it? Again, all the bowling's flat. You know, he changed his line a little bit there, but there's no up and down on it, and he's just throwing his hands through it, Sam Curran. And 250 don't look so far away.
39 now for Sam Curran. Comes back over the wicket, and Sam Curran, that's come straight off the toe end of his bat, I think, trying to swing it leg side, and he might nick the strike here off Laurie Evans. So the throw comes in over the top of the stumps. That's an expensive over for Prem Sisodia. And Sam Curran just enjoying himself. 184 for 120 off that over with 4 overs to go.
66 off 4. What do you reckon?
Doable. The way they're going, if they keep going at 20s, then...
The other thing is you've still got Laurie Evans there on 95, but actually at the moment he can't get any of the strike because Sam Curran's enjoying himself. Evans could get left, 95 not out. With the way Sam Curran goes about things, you wouldn't put it past him. He's a greedy little so-and-so when he gets going.
Well, we said when he first came in, though, his job was just to get a single and get Laurie Evans on strike. And he's done quite the opposite.
In his orange boots.
Yep. Sorry, 184 for 1. Sam Curran on 40. Eyeing a huge total here at Spire Gardens as Jamie McElroy comes back into the attack, so more pace on the ball. As Sam Curran ducks under a short ball, which is not given wide. It was over his shoulder, but a dot ball, we haven't seen many of those in the last few overs.
Test match, all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's a good choice, that, isn't it? You know, everything else is going around the park, so why not? By the way, Mark, have you got a thing about shoes or something?
Well, I just think if you're going to wear bright orange boots, you've got to be... I have got a thing about shoes as well, yeah.
As the next ball is clipped into the onside by Sam Curran. Another fumble in the outfield allows him to come back for 2. That's frustrating for Glamorgan. There probably was 2 anyway, so we move on to 186 for 1, but just shows the pressure on the fielder when Sam Curran sprints off to the other end the way he does.
The fielding has been sloppy over the last couple of games, Glamorgan, the outfielding, and it's happened again tonight. Catches and...
McElroy in again to the left-handed Curran, who gives himself some room and whips straight down the ground, but long on is there to retrieve just a single. Curran on to 43. Surrey move on to 187 for 1. So just the 3 runs from the first 3 balls now for Jamie McElroy. Started the over well, but as you were saying, Mark, quite often Glamorgan have started well and let it slip.
Yeah, and I just think they've caught Surrey tonight being, as Tony Cotty said right at the start, very controlled, this from Surrey. And with this batting line-up, if 2 of them get in, God dear.
Watch out. As McElroy charges in again, left arm. Into Laurie Evans, who drives for 4 over mid-off, and he moves on to 99. Just a single away now from 51 balls. That takes Surrey up to 191 for 1 in the 17th over. Just as we said, Jamie McElroy started his over well, offers a bit of width outside off stump with over extra covers head, mid off, long off can't get there. Thank you very much, 4 more runs.
If he gets there, this will mean an awful lot to Laurie Evans for a number of reasons.
Here he is now on 99, facing Jamie McElroy, and he drives up to long off, and there is the century for Laurie Evans. It comes from just 52 balls, and that is an emphatic celebration. He leaps into the air, takes off his helmet, and he does look quite emotional. Salutes his bat towards his teammates who are all on their feet applauding, and it has been an incredible innings from Laurie Evans, the opener. 100 from 52 balls. It's been a real classy innings.
Yeah, he's played fantastically well. He had a few dot balls early on because we were saying that Jacks didn't have much of the strike, but sometimes you need a few balls just to get yourself going. And yeah, he took the spinners to Soldier to the cleaners for sure.
Curran now then on strike, and that's a wide. Not given a wide for some reason.
Well, I think it's
Sam Curran's asking why.
It's because he walked across his stumps, but it was still
wide.
Still 2 feet wide a leg stump.
Curran's not too happy about it, but
that's a poor decision.
That is a poor decision. You'd say that was wide. Sorry, move on to 192 for 1. 3 overs left. Laurie Evans 100 not out from 52 balls.
Right, I'm still going.
Still going?
Yeah, I'm going for 250.
A word mark from you on.
Yeah,
Laurie
look, he's had a tough 6 months. I think it's been well documented what's happened to Laurie Evans over the last 6 months, and he's allowed to come back and play. And I think you could see there how much that meant to him to make that 100, and it will mean an awful lot to him to make it for Surrey as well. And the fact that he started his career, of course, at Surrey, but beautifully described by you, Phil. You could just see what that meant to him. 18th over, and it's Mr. Hatzaglu bowling from the Cathedral Road end, and Laurie Evans smashes this one straight down the ground towards long off, and they will pick up a single.
Yeah, 10 fours and 5 sixes as well.
And he's a lovely player to watch, isn't he? He always has been. He's got the showman about him as well, Laurie Evans, but delighted for him. As I say, he's had a tough 6 to 8 months, and you could see what that meant to him to get that 100. 193 for 1. Sam Curran on 43. Oh, hello. He swung this one high in the air. This could be 6 because it's gone straight over Billy Root, who would have to grow by about 12 foot to get anywhere near that. So Sam Curran has just rocked onto the back foot and swung it over mid-wicket for 6. And Sam Curran is on 48 here. But he kept Billy Root interested, but 49 now, of 22 deliveries. It just makes Abbott's 100 off 34 look even better, doesn't it? When you think of 34 deliveries, he got 100, but 1 away from 50, Sam Curran. And that's very, very short and very wide. Slapped down the ground by Sam Curran. That'll be his 50. It's been a great knock, this, from Sam Curran. 50 from 23 deliveries. And the 200 comes up for Surrey. So 200 for 1 Surrey in the 18th over.
Yeah, it's been a great partnership, this, isn't it? It's not very often you see Will Jacks depart and then the scoring rate increases. And yeah, it's getting to the stage. It's just took it away from Glamorgan. You don't chase these kind of scores very often.
Still with 2.5 overs to go as well. Laurie Evans backs away, cuts out towards Billy Root, sweeping on that cover boundary rope. Evans will move on to 102. And 201 for 1. Sam Curran comes back onto strike on 50. Yeah, these two came together in the 11th over when Jacks was LBW. So yeah, this man Hatzaglu for 46. That was 115 for 1. Sam Curran, that'll be 6. Cool, blimey, he's got hold of that. That's gone a long way back. That's into the bottom tier of the pavilion. That's a long old carry, and he's just stood there and swung it over mid-wicket for 6.
That's just a pickup. He's just made that look so easy.
He is a lovely timer of a cricket ball, Sam Curran. He's on to 56 here. In the back of his head, he'll be thinking, can I catch Laurie Evans up? That's the way he goes about his cricket, Sam Curran. 56 of 24 for Sam Curran. 207 for 1, Surrey. Final ball of this, the 18th over, and that's short and wide. That's a brilliant shot from Sam Curran for 6. Over extra cover. All right, it was short and it was wide, but he's just brought his bottom hand in at the last moment to get it up and over the top of extra cover for 6 runs. It's a ball you would think, all right, lay back and cut that. And he's actually just at the bottom, at the last moment, flung his bottom hand into it and almost whipped it over extra cover for 6. It wasn't the best delivery, but still put away, and that 250 is definitely on now. 18 gone, and Surrey are 213 for 1.
It's all flat, you know, from the spin. It's been very flat, and if it's just been short of a length, it's been whacked in the mid wicket, and if it's been full, it's been slapped through the offside. And you know, still great shots, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like they're trying to bowl their best ball, and at times like this you've got to bowl your best ball, because otherwise you're just trying to contain, and if you haven't got wickets, you ain't containing these players. And I'm still on. I think I'm winning a few quid here. 37
It's just the hesitancy of being a spinner at this ground, though, isn't it? They're worried about floating it out there and, you know, offering a little bit of flight.
Ball. Not every ball,
of
but
course,
you've got to try
mix it up.
Yeah.
As Rory Smith's going to bowl his final over now to Laurie Evans, and he's launched him straight back down the ground for the 1 bounce 4, not far away from being one of the flattest 6s that you will see. Evans moves on to 106. Has just clubbed straight back down the ground. Sorry, 217 for 1. The highest total against Glamorgan in the blast is Essex's 254.
At Chelmsford Pro, I presume, yeah?
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be a great effort to get there, but the way they're going is a boundary ball at the moment. So, as Glamorgan's, or someone, is trying to find the ball underneath the covers at the end of the ground there.
I think Chelmsford is marginally smaller straight than here, isn't it? But yeah, and also if you are chasing leather at Chelmsford, you tend to know about it from the crowd as well.
So Rory Smith then for first ball, ball to Laurie Evans, which has not been easy tonight. He's in right arm and he's bowled a dot ball outside the off stump. Again, just shows back to basics. Bowl your best ball. Try and make Laurie Evans do something different.
It's very well bowled. Very well bowled. Just to get back to shoes, Mr. Cotty, all I'm saying is...
You mentioned it a dozen times, right?
Yeah, but all I'm saying is if you've got bright red boots, you've got to back it up, haven't you?
I'm just saying I think you've got a shoe fetish.
I have. Should see my wardrobe. God, there's a number in there.
Rory Smith in now to Laurie Evans, and he's clubbed him over. Extra cover for another 1 bounce 4. So full toss from Smith. Put away by Laurie Evans, and there's just not enough fielders out there for Glamorgan at the moment. Sorry, move on to 221 for 1.
So it's fine margin because the last ball we said was well bowled. It was in the Yorker length, wasn't it? And then you just over pitch, and then you go the distance.
As Rory Smith bowls his slower ball, and that's absolutely launched for 6. That actually looked like it was going a lot further than it was. So I feel like I was probably being a bit dramatic there. But he's got hold of that probably over the longest part of the boundary.
I was going to say, that's a fair carry, over extra cover to that corner, because it's very much a... I would say it's like a playing card, this ground, isn't it? As in they wide in the corners and short straight. And, yeah, great shot again.
So 2 4s and a 6 already from Rory Smith's 4th over. 2 balls left in it. Sorry, 227 for 1. Laurie Evans has 116 not out. Good luck to you, Rory Smith, as he's in now, and he's driven down the ground firmly. Should just be a single. Laurie Evans gets to the non-striker's end. He moves on to 117. So Sam Curran, who's not going too badly himself, with 62 from 25.
They have all these clever things now on TV coverage, don't they? And it's height of a shot, I notice now. Well, that would have been right up there from Laurie Evans, because that is a long old carry out there.
Well, it looked like it was going into the river, and then it did just kind of dip over the rope, which shows how long it was. But it was a slower ball, and he still hit it that far. So if it had any pace on it, it probably would have gone into the river. As Smith now to complete his spell is into the left-handed Sam Curran, and while bowled... Full delivery, just driven down the ground. Sam Curran gratefully accepts the single, walks the single pretty much, as he keeps the strike for the final over. Sorry, 229 for one over to go, and it's already an imposing total.
Yeah, it is, and they've just batted well tonight. I think Glamorgan will be a little disappointed with the way they've bowled, but they've just come across 3 batters in good nick, and that's the thing. And Jax has looked pretty good all season without making a massive score yet. Sam Curran's looked good from ball 1, and Laurie Evans back in last Sunday against Kent made 52 and looked sort of back to where he needs to be, and he's just batted beautifully tonight for 100. He's had his moments of luck, but you need them in T20. So McElroy it will be to bowl the final over of this Surrey innings, coming left arm over the wicket to Sam Curran. That's very well bowled, gets it up on the boots of Sam Curran. I won't mention the colour, and they're back for 2, and Sam Curran moves on to 65. Surrey move on to 231 for 1. Well bowled by McElroy. I suppose, Tony Cotty, though, from a Glamorgan point of view, you sort of feel under even more pressure now when you're chasing a big total like this, when you get out there to go for it from ball 1, don't you?
To be honest, I'm not, when it's nearly 250, I'm not so sure there's more pressure. I think you know what you've got to do. You just got to get 80 of the first 6.
Driving is Sam Curran, but again it's well bowled by McElroy. Right up on the toes, he'll get a single.
You're looking at, you need to get 80 off the first 6 minimum, 0 to 1 wicket down, don't take any chances. You know what I mean? It's
a pretty simple equation, really, isn't it?
It's simple in the fact that you know what you got to do, and there's no fear of anyone giving you a roasting for getting out playing shots.
I'll take you back, that game where the one-day game, where Ali Brown got and chasing whatever it was, and then Robert Croft and
David Hemp got 100.
That's got 100. Almost got over the line. As in over the wicket then comes McElroy. Well bowled again, gets it right up on the toes.
No, I'm just nodding along.
You'd have been playing in that, were you?
No, I'd gone to Sussex, right?
You'd gone to Sussex by then.
I reckon it's about 2001.
Yeah, that's right.
Somewhere around there.
And Surrey got an enormous total. And then Glamorgan almost chased it down, because basically went out from ball 1 and just launched it. 233 for 1. No, absolutely not. 3 balls to go. McElroy coming into the left-handed Curran. Short one. Oh, Sam Curran swung this high in the air. He should go here. Caught at long on. He will go here. Caught at long on. But what an innings that's been from Sam Curran. Colin Ingram with the catch. But Sam Curran's done some damage. 66 he's made. Sorry, 233 for 2. The partnership was 118 for that second wicket. Laurie Evans is absolutely exhausted out there in the middle with his hands on his knees as a drink is brought to him. And Surrey are sending out the formidable figure of Jamie Overton at number 4. But what an innings that was, Tony Cotty, from Sam Curran.
Yeah, fantastic. He just came in and as if he came in as if he was 20 not out. From ball 1 he just timed it and played some massive shots. And these two, Glamorgan's strength in their bowling has been the 2 spinners. And I was just looking at the spinners here. If my maths are right, 142 off the 10.2, the 2 that Kieran Carson bowled. You know, they've gone for 14s, and that's something with a lot of injured seamers. They've hung their hat on, you know, that their spinners would be able to control, and they've just been smashed tonight.
So, Jamie Overton on strike. Penultimate delivery of this Surrey innings. McElroy's right up on his toes again. Low full toss. It's hit down the ground by Overton. They're going to come back for 2. And Laurie Evans had almost given that up, actually. I think he's absolutely exhausted. Oh dear, McElroy's down now as well. I hope he's all right. He's sort of gripping his right ankle. Is McElroy. Oh dear. It's like emergency ward 10 out there at the moment, because Laurie Evans is down on his haunches. McElroy's got a limp. He's absolutely exhausted. Yeah. Although Laurie Evans will just be putting a little bit of this on for the crowd. Absolutely. But yeah, he's a little punch of gloves there with Jamie Overton. Yeah, McElroy there just stretching that knee. Just trying to get down to the ball, wasn't he? Already seen poor old Dan Dothwaite have to go off. So here we go, last ball of this Surrey innings. Overton's on strike, McElroy's to him, and it's an outside edge, and it's dropped. That's a horrible drop, and Overton, God, has run into McElroy. There's just a collision between those two. That is the last bloke you want to run into, is Jamie Overton. Catch was dropped at short third. chaos out there off the last ball, but it means that Laurie Evans will finish 118 not out, and it means Surrey have posted a formidable total of 236 for 2. Jamie Overton 3 not out, but Tony Cotty, you just have to take your hat off to Laurie Evans there. Brilliant 100.
Yeah, it's fantastic 100. I was miles off when I was 250, to be fair, but
Not too far off. Still pretty high.
Yeah, no, to be fair, it's if Sam Curran had stayed to the end, potentially that was on. But yeah, fantastic innings. Any 100 in T20, you know, they're very rare and one to cherish. And he played fantastically well. And he walked off with a bit of a strut. I remember his strut at Sussex. He's very famous for that, and rightly so. He's, I'll give him that. He's allowed to walk off with a strut playing like that. But yeah, it's just a massive score, 12 and over. 12 and 70. They need to be 80 Glamorgan off the power play with only a wicket down tops to even make this any kind of game. But as I said, you've got a couple of batters in there who are in the form of their lives, Cook and Ingram. So, let's hope Glamorgan can make some kind of fist of it.
What I would say about that is, and the Glamorgan faithful will want to see Glamorgan do the same thing. But it's been entertaining. It really hasn't. I've seen a couple of games this season where the pitches haven't been great and they've been low scorers, and the odd one of two of those is fine. But what you really want to see is that, and bowlers need to come up with plans to prevent that to happen. But I think what Glamorgan will say to them is exactly what Tony Cotty's just said: is look, just go out there. We know what we've got to do. It's a pretty good pitch. Enjoy yourselves and go for it. But no, well batted Laurie Evans, very fine innings that. And I've just realised that Sam Curran only got his 66 off 29 balls, so he ticked along very nicely as well.
Yeah, it's going to be tough work for Glamorgan though against Surrey's bowling attack as well. But 237 to win from 20 overs.
It sounds better if you say 120 balls, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit more doable.
More doable, yeah.
As we'll just take a short break here, and we'll be back shortly to resume Glamorgan's chase.
Who's your partner on the other side? That would be Chris Hughes. Is Chris Hughes any good at things like this? He's a bit quicker than me, he's a young batsman, hopefully he can do this at the end. Okay, so he's got the legs to finish. What's your tackle? As fast as he can, really. No other tackle to him. Okay, fair enough. Remember, you've got to roll it, you can't pick it up, okay? What's your name away from? Harold from Alabama. And your friend from the father as well? Yeah, his name's Cole. Oh, okay, is Cole any good? I love the honesty. What's going to be your tactic then? That's a good one. Okay, get yourselves ready in place with your Thatcher's apple. Guys, are you ready the other side? You don't want any excuses? Okay, have the thumbs up. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Roll that Thatcher's apple! A solid start from both, to be fair. There's a bit of wind from Aberdeen. Get back in the middle. Don't crash with each other. Okay, step in next to my guards. Pick a side. It's not too bad, this is Aberdeen, who's going to take it? Here we go, he said he was fast to finish, and he's done it, Aberdeen, take it! Give a round of applause, excellent competition, it's taken the prize, and it's a good one as well. It's easy to look at the background. Now, earlier on, we were talking to schools who were involved in the National Show Wales partnership with Glamorgan. It's actually quite simple, to create a shout that we play in the time to blast, music combined with cricket, and this is what it is.
Very good evening and welcome back to Sophia Gardens for this T20 blast match between Glamorgan and Surrey, where Surrey have done all the blasting so far. There's a man of immense positivity taking the stage around now down at the stadium. Chris Martin, I wonder if he'd have any consoling words for Glamorgan fans and the feel-good songs of Coldplay. Have you got one, Mark?
Oh, I'd fix you.
Ah, yes.
Yes, that's what. See what I've done there?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think that was pre-planned between the two of
Yeah,
you.
it
to be
was.
honest.
And then he forgot to turn my microphone on with the punchline. Yeah, look, I think Glamorgan basically have got to go for this from ball one, haven't they?
They have indeed. As ball one will be delivered by Sean Abbott. Now, the Australians retained Michael Neser without playing him in the World Test Championship. Why couldn't they have retained Sean Abbott without playing him?
It's interesting. I think he was so pleased to get the call into that. I think he'd have been very disappointed, especially with the game at his home ground now. He knows the pitches better than anybody these days.
Here is Abbott then to bowl to Kieran Carlson, who's opening the batting alongside North East, and hits the first ball for 4 runs down towards backward point. Well, we were referencing that match at the Oval, Tony, where I think, was it Crofty hit the first 4 balls for 4, first over for 4?
He got 100, didn't he, as well? I think Crofty got 100, and what did he finish? About a dozen short, was it? Something like that?
9, I think they lost by in the end. They were in the hunt to the last 2 balls, bizarrely, in a huge 50 over chase. Glamorgan 4 for 0. As the next delivery is moving away off Abbott. I thought for a moment that Carlson had edged it through to the keeper, but that was just movement off the pitch.
Nice pace on this pitch, you know, with a white ball. Obviously green wickets with a red ball, bowler friendly, but with a white ball just gives a bit of zip, comes on, you know, you get value for shots, and Glamorgan needs some value for shots here, that's for sure.
Glamorgan's target is 237. Well, they got 238 a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of games ago. Abbott is through to Carlson again. Oh, that's beaten him all hands up. How has that missed A, the inside edge, and B, the stumps?
I think it's gone over the top of middle and leg, that, hasn't it? Nip back off. As you said early on, you might get a bit of movement with the white ball, but it's good pace, good bounce, and just over the top of middle and leg. So good bowling, you have to say. Bit of width early on, wasn't there? And adjusted that now.
Glamorgan knocked up 238 for 3 against Middlesex at Northwood. They need to repeat that. In comes Abbott, bowls to Carlson, who hits towards mid-on, didn't get hold of it at all. One bounce towards the fielder, Tom Curran.
Yeah, so it's going in and batting now. You need, when you play your big shots, you need to feel them off middle of the bat, 2 or 3 fours, then you get a bit of momentum. The first bit is where wickets tumble, isn't it? You know, before the batters get in. So Kieran Carlson needs a little bit of luck here to get off and running and get this Glamorgan reply on track.
Abbott with 3 dot balls in a row into Carlson, who swings again outside off stump and is beaten by pace.
Yeah, the other thing that will come into play here is that Surrey have a variety of bowlers that Chris Jordan will call on. One of them, Sunil Narayan, as well. We always talk about the Narayan factor. You know, they're going to have to go after Narayan here, and he's not an easy guy to go after at all. But of course, you've got Chris Jordan and Sam Curran for the back end, Gus Atkinson, Sean Abbott. He's got a huge Cameron Steele with his leg breaks, Will Jacks with his off breaks. He's got a lot of options.
He's fielding 12 all-rounders in a team, Mark, that does it. Abbott is in to bowl to Carlson, who runs one down and should pick up at least a couple, I think. They'll turn. No, they decide against coming back for the second run. So 5 off the first over. And, well, Glamorgan, Tony said, need to get about 80 in the power play there to stand the remotest sniff of a chance.
Absolutely, and the way Mark's going, they're a good fielding team as well, Surrey, because they got a great bowling side. They've just knocked 236 on the board there, and best fielding side as well. No,
yeah, on a serious point with that though, you know, if you leave too much when Narayan comes on, that's another pressure. I'm convinced that sides before they play Surrey, or any team that Narayan plays for, when he's on form, he's a remarkable bowler. He's got such great control. You don't want to leave too much to go after Narayan. So it's going to be an interesting sort of conundrum this for Glamorgan. It's going to be Gus Atkinson from the River End coming in over the wicket to Carson, who's swinging at this up towards mid-on. Quick singles taken. If that had hit, would have been interesting. Carson had to put the dive in. They get a single.
Churchy's getting his revenge for all those years where Glamorgan used to win at the Oval in this comp every year, I think.
Yes, absolutely. I just find it quite interesting that Surrey actually haven't played brilliantly in any game yet, but they've always got a variety of options. And as you say, I think the fact that you're playing all-rounders throughout the 11, it does give Chris Jordan a number of options with the ball as well. And Ryan, he's very good at what he does. As Gus Atkinson into North-East, his first delivery, just tucks him up for a bit of room. North-East pushes this one straight back up the pitch, and there's no run.
Yeah, Samuel, he's got 30, I think 32 last game at Hull, but was a bit out of sorts, so he hadn't got runs before that game, so hopefully a bit of time in the middle. He came a bit, he struggled early on, but got up to 32 then at about 20 odd balls. So hopefully, he can get off to a great start here with Kieran Carlson.
Over the wicket again goes Atkinson, swing and a miss from North-East. Atkinson's quick. He got that to bounce. North-East was backing away outside his leg stump. Overton's rehearsing, putting his hands above his heads to take a catch, but again he's just got that to climb, stand up on North-East. Good pace from Gus Atkinson. Overton's actually taking a few paces back now at slip after seeing that, as he settles himself down in there. Narayan's on the edge of the circle at fine leg as Atkinson is into North-East, backs away, shot from Sam North-East. This time he does go up and over the top of the covers and away for 4. So Sam North-East is off the mark with a boundary, and Glamorgan in the second over are 10 without loss. Nicely put away by Sam North-East.
Yeah, much needed as well. It's always nice to get a boundary up and running and get your innings off to a start, but lots and lots of boundaries needed over the next 4 and a bit overs.
As Overton's coming out from slip now, he's going to drop himself into a mid-wicket position. Not sure what Laurie Evans is doing. It looks like he's trying to take off. Stood up at mid-on. Atkinson over the wicket, he comes to North-East. North-East works it into the leg side. There is Overton to do the fielding. Throw comes into Jamie Smith, and there's no run. Sam North-East wanders off towards square leg. He of the 400, of course. Sam North-East. Terrific player, Sam North-East.
177 in a one-day cup match as well.
Yeah, he's a great player, Sam North-East. I think he's one of those that you'll look back in years to come and think, how did he not play for England? A bit like Hilditch as well. As Hildreth, apologies. As in comes Atkinson, cutting at this is North-East, beats the edge, taken by Jamie Smith away to his right. So it's a pretty tidy first over from Gus Atkinson. 2 gone, and Glamorgan chasing 2, 3, 7 are 10 without loss. Carlson has 6, and Sam North-East is on 4.
Yeah, it's a pretty daunting task when you think that you're probably looking at 15, at least 15 boundaries in the first power play, 13 to 15 boundaries in the power play, and without that, Glamorgan are done and dusted. Really, you ain't catching up after. If you're anywhere around 50 off the power play, you're not catching that up. So it's tough, and you'll see plenty of swing and misses. Yeah, let's hope there's a few connections as well.
As Abbott will continue from the Cathedral Road end in the growing shadows, and Carlson tries to play a ramp, but the ball ricochets out to point, and then for good measure he's been hit by the throw at the non-striker's end as well. Well, he might have been hit by the ball originally. I'm not sure if it was bat or off the body to start with, and then he's pinged another one at the other end.
That's hit him on the back hip, wasn't it? The back hip, just lower back on the hip, and that's going to be sore because you're not expecting it either.
So I think he's given us a leg bye, so he's been struck by the ball originally, and then he's been hit again at the non-striker's end as he completed the leg bye.
I think it almost hit him in exactly the same spot as the first one.
Oh dear. Abbott is in to bowl, and North East plays it through the offside, but it'll be cut off by the sweeper running round from backward point to square of the wicket, and just the single taken. 12 without loss. Glamorgan earlier losing Dan Douthwaite with the side strain. Eddie Byram has got a hip injury that appears problematic, and apparently still giving him a lot of problems several days after that blow on Sunday at Hove. So wouldn't expect him to see him back on Friday. As that is slogged by Carlson for 6. Better than a slog. Big swing of the bat over long on, easily clearing the infield and clearing the boundary as well. Well, that's one. Another 20 of those and Glamorgan might be in business.
Might be in business. That was the little smack you're on about, Byram's, wasn't it? The little smack you said.
Well, I think he completed the over. Didn't he play out a couple of more balls? I can't remember.
Straight off.
18 for naught. As that is cut by Carlson towards point. It will be just saved on the boundary by a tumbling Evans, as if he hadn't done enough for the day, and hitting 118 off half the deliveries.
Well, I'll have done Kieran Carlson a world of good. A fast run too there, loosen his back off anyways.
Do you fancy a game on Friday night, Tony? They're going down like 9 pins, I'm afraid, and Glamorgan with a smaller squad than last season anyway. 20 without loss. Abbott is in to bowl. That one's again pulled over wide, mid on, long on, 2 bounces over the ropes for 4 runs. So Kieran Carlson, the Glamorgan skipper, is determined to give the home crowd something to shout about as he went big over long on for the second time in the over. 24 for naught off 17 balls. They're still behind the run rate. Chris Jordan waving to his troops. Jamie Smith behind the stumps. Laurie Evans has got the message. He's got to come in the circle because mid-wicket has been dropped back as well as square leg, so there's room to hit over the offside if Carlson can. As Abbott is in to bowl and through the keeper, Jamie Smith, as Carlson backed away, tried to get leg side of it to hit over off, but didn't make contact. 24 for naught, 14 off. That's about the 12.5 is the required run rate.
Yeah, better over that one. Better over, you know, again, it's so caution to the wind here. There's no ways that Glamorgan can't go 100% in the first 10, and they've got to be up, what, 100, 120, 130 of the first 10, you know, with the power play being played. So, yeah, it's difficult. I think we got a spinner.
Sam Curran's coming on.
Coming on.
Sam Curran coming on. Well, they're exactly where Surrey were after 3. Glamorgan, 24. Surrey were 24 without loss after 3. I think he'll get Narayan in pretty early here, Chris Jordan, as North East will be the man on strike. So 24 without loss. Sam Curran, left arm over the wicket. He's into Sam North East, who's flicked him up and over the top of short fine. Narayan will never get anywhere near that, and that's over the boundary rope and away for 4. Sensibly played by Sam North East, just shovelled up and over the top of short fine, and it hit the turf and just sped up, but I don't think Narayan was ever chasing that, and that's over the rope and away for 4. And Glamorgan 28 without loss. North East moves on to 9. Good shot from Sam North East. Sam Curran will run towards us, come left arm over the wicket to North East, nips it back. North East pushes it away into the offside. There is Will Jacks to do the fielding. They'll take the single. North East moves on to 10, and Carlson will come on to strike on 18. 29 without loss. Got the short third and the
looked like it swung a little bit, that one, didn't it? It came back, cramped him for a bit of room, because I think he was looking down that area. You're looking here, short third man, short backward point. If he can beat them, it's a boundary, but cramped up by Sam Curran.
Sam Curran in over the wicket to Carlson. Carlson swings leg side. He's swinging everything leg side at the moment and doing it very effectively. That's over the boundary rope and away for 4 more. And ever since Kieran Carlson got hit in the backside twice off the same delivery. He's just decided to go after everything. And this is good from the captain. And giving Chris Jordan something to think about. And to 22 he goes, 33 without loss. I remember him playing a brilliant innings when Glamorgan won the Royal London One Day Cup. Terrific innings in the final. Played shots all over the park. Carlson waits again over his bat. Right-handed as Sam Curran's into him. Whoa, this has gone very high. Would not want to be under that. Gus Atkinson, though, takes a very safe catch. So Carlson swung leg side again, went straight up in the air, and Gus Atkinson takes the catch. Kieran Carlson goes for 22 in the 4th over, and Glamorgan are 33 for 1.
Yep. You know, you can't die wondering when you got a score like that on the board, and fair play to Kieran. He gave it everything there. Nasty blow, didn't he? And couldn't quite, I suppose, access all parts of the ground. He was always dragged, wasn't he, mid-on and dragged towards mid-wicket. And yeah, just got a bit big on him and straight up in the air. But you know, he's done well. 22 off 14 balls, I think. So that's where Glamorgan have got to go. They got to play their shots and hope they can put a big partnership together as Surrey did.
Yeah, he had time to think about that, did Gus Atkinson. So Callum Taylor is out there in the middle, like a full-back in rugby he was there, waiting to call the mark. Gus Atkinson, a bit of bowling from Sam Curran, just took a little bit of pace off it. Carlson threw it a bit early, just went straight up in the air. So 33 for 1. Glamorgan, 2 balls of this over to come from Sam Curran, the 4th, and driving to his first ball is the right-handed Taylor. That goes up to Chris Jordan, stood up there at mid-off, and there is no run.
Yeah, welcome back to the team. Callum Taylor, bowl with Surrey on the charge, and bat when they need 12.5 and over to win.
Yeah.
It's a bit different from the second team.
Yeah, but ahead of an opportunity if he can get in there tonight. Sam Curran, left arm over the wicket he comes to Taylor, and it's a slower one, which is very well played, just helps it off his hip and away for 4. Very controlled shot that from Taylor, and a boundary off the last ball of the over. So the wicket for Sam Curran, of Kieran Carlson for 22, but that was nicely played by Taylor, down to the boundary rope for 4 runs. 4 overs gone, and Glamorgan 37 for 1, so they need 200 off 16 overs.
I just wonder, Tony, whether it might have been better to get Colin Ingram in. Ingram and Cook, the in-form players, just give them as long as possible to go at it.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point in a game like this where the fielders are in and they're both really good strikers. They can half hit and they'll clear the circle, won't they? So, yeah, maybe, you know, get your best or your most informed players up front. But yeah, the runs per over, 9 and over. It's not a terrible start, and they just got to kick on now.
As the next ball is played away on the offside by North East, and this is we got. Is this more Atkinson?
It is indeed.
Yes, his first over went for just 5, so why not?
Tell you what, I'd like to see Ingram Vina Rhine. That would be fun.
You may well do in the next few minutes. Who knows? Atkinson then bowls, and North East swings, but straight to mid-on. Tom Curran fields, and there's no run. 37 for 1. The shadows extending across most of the playing surface. The crowd in the grandstand, I hope they've got their factor 30s on this evening, as it's been a warm all day in the capital. 37 for 1, Glamorgan chasing 237 to win, as that is cut by North East down towards the boundary, and despite a brave dive by the third man fielder, it has reached the ropes. 41 for 1.
Yeah, much needed, isn't it? You know, the runs per over is not a disaster. I think potentially Glamorgan will get to around 55, 60, maybe a couple more, but it's soul destroying when that's 20 below par, really. But partnerships are everything, and not losing wickets. That's the only way Glamorgan are going to get into a position where maybe Ingram and Cook can get close.
Atkinson is into bowl, and that is driven straight to cover by North East. There's a throw at the stumps at the non-striker's end, which misses. 41 for 1.
Great pitch for T20 this. It really is,
especially as it's had a bit of previous use today. I know the women's game doesn't put quite such wear and tear as the heavier fast bowlers of the men's game. Atkinson bowls, and that's driven down towards backward point for 4 runs by Sam North East. 45 for 1.
Yeah, or trying to just create width there, Sam North East, wasn't he? Just stayed away to leg. There was a length ball, slashed at it, beat backward point, and with this outfield, always going to be 4 runs and another boundary. And I think, you know, it's just we got how many overs? 1.1, isn't there? 7 balls in this, and even saying now, you know, that need 4 boundaries off those 7 balls to make hay while the field is in.
Inside the power play, Atkinson bowls a short ball that follows North East, and he tried to swat at it but missed. 45 for 1, so Glamorgan going at 9s, which is respectable, but you need something even more spectacular than usual from Cook and Ingram if they're going to win this one. I suppose the mission must be now just to get as many as they can and entertain the crowd and keep the damage to the net run rate down.
Yeah, and enjoy it, be positive and everything, because obviously Glamorgan have only lost 1 before this. Surrey have lost 2, so you know the key to this is keep your confidence levels up. And if Glamorgan get to, you know, somewhere around 180 or something like that to 200, then the batters will be confident. If not, the bowlers, you know, the bowlers a bit shell shocked, I would think. And as I said, the spinners went for a lot, which is difficult for Glamorgan when another seamer's gone pop when Dan Douthwaite. So it's quite tough with no firepower.
Well, the captain Chris Jordan brings himself into the attack for the final over of the power play and bowls Callum Taylor. All ends up, knocks out his leg stump with a quick Yorker first up. Taylor was giving himself a little bit of room, and Taylor goes for 4, and Chris Jordan with his first delivery bowls Callum Taylor for 4, and Glamorgan a 45 for 2. Pretty good loosener that from Chris Jordan.
Well, what has he used at Surrey now for? At the death, and which he's obviously famed for, but he can come in a game like this and not try and hit top of off stump, because he knows the Glamorgan batters are going to be looking swinging from the hip, and full leg stump Yorker done for Callum Taylor.
So out comes Colin Ingram to the middle.
He's averaging 87, strike rate of 167, and Glamorgan are going to need him to keep that up.
It's a curse of the commentator, that.
Well, he's a quality
just
player.
Stats, Tony, just stats.
He's a quality player, this fella. And he'll enjoy the challenge. So, left-handed, of course. Chris Jordan, though, as I say, it's quite a loosener, that, from Chris Jordan. And yeah, it'll be Curran and Jordan to bowl at the end. That's what it always is.
Maybe if you've played 87 T20 internationals, so you don't have such a thing as a loosener.
Yeah, well, the other thing here, of course, and I tend to forget it because Chris Jordan wasn't originally in the starting 11 for that World T20, but of course he played the last couple of games, and it was Sam Curran and Chris Jordan who bowled the death overs in that World Cup victory as well. So huge amounts of experience, but as has Colin Ingram, of course. So this will be good. Chris Jordan then comes in over the wicket to the left-handed Ingram, and his first ball he's going after beats the edge, and into the gloves it goes of Jamie Smith, moving away to his left-hand side. I am very excited about Ingram versus Narine. What we've seen with Narine is it's the cross-batted shots. It's those that can sweep, reverse sweep, that can get after him. It doesn't happen very often because he sort of likes to have you coming towards him. Sunil Narine. Ingram waits over his bat once more as Jordan is into him, and Ingram, that's wide outside the off stump, and this will be signalled wide. Oh, Jordan's not happy with that, and taken by Jamie Smith, moving away to his left hand side. 46 for 2 Glamorgan, Their target 237 after Surrey posted 236 for 2.
Looks like he's getting a head of steam up as well, Jordan. But yeah, getting a bit of pace up. He can get up close to 90 mile an hour. Remember that in his Sussex days.
Just captaining Surrey, of course, in the T20 these days, Chris Jordan. As over the wicket he comes to Ingram, and Ingram's off the mark. Just neatly and tidily tucks this ball out towards Gus Atkinson. Sweeping out there on the deep backward square boundary rope. Brings Sam Northeast back onto strike on 18, so it's 190 from here for Glamorgan. Tom Curran is being brought up from third man to the edge of the circle. They're going to have the deep backward square, and they've got a man at a deepish, well, hugging the boundary backward point for Northeast, because of course he's cut a couple through there already. So Overton's down there to our right as Chris Jordan is in, and that's hitting the thigh guard of Sam Northeast, and it rolls down to Narayan. He's working up a bit of pace here, is Chris Jordan.
There's a few well lubricated chaps down beneath us next to the effects microphone by the sound of it.
I think it's Surrey fans as well, by the sound.
Yeah.
Surrey committee. Settles himself down over his back once again.
On the local pale ale.
Yes, indeed. Quite right. It'd been a lovely day for it. I'm waiting to hear the dulcet tones of Chris Martin floating across in a few moments' time. As Northeast waits once again. Chris Jordan is over the wicket, and Northeast backs away and cuts, and Abbott does well there, just dives to his left on the edge of the circle and gets a hand to it, and they will pick up a single. That'll be one more to the total, one more to Northeast. He moves on to 19, and Glamorgan move on to 48 for 2.
Yeah, well, known in the trade as a heavy, there's one ball to come, I think, isn't it? Yeah, either wide, didn't he? Heavy over so far, hasn't he? He's hit the bat really hard, Chris Jordan. Bit of pace in this wicket. Green, as we've said, and good for batting. But if you bend your back here, you get a bit out of it as well.
Ingram comes back onto strike. They've got the slip in there. That's Jamie Overton. So this is the final ball of the power play. 48 for 2. Glamorgan. Jordan is in to Ingram, and Ingram just tucks him up towards mid-on. It's good over that from Chris Jordan. The final one of the power play, going for just the 3 runs and the wicket of Taylor. And Surrey at this stage were 54 without loss off their power play. Glamorgan are 48 for 2.
Doesn't see much in it there, does it?
No.
At the end of the day, but as we said, he was quite controlled when Surrey batted, and there's no wickets down, and they just accelerated on from there. So there's a lot of work to do here to get anywhere near.
Required run rate, thankfully, is in the middle of the board, 13.5. Which is useful for us, but not great reading for the home side.
There's a worse one than that. Duckworth Lewis is 81. So we are 33 behind that after the first 6 overs.
So here we have Narayan into the attack, the veteran West Indian off spinner, come mystery spinner. Tony will read him, of course, from up here.
Well, you can actually see the ball from here, can't you?
3 floors up.
You can't see it when he's coming towards you, but it's behind his back there. What's that one, Nick?
You tell me. As that is hit back past him by Northeast, but just the single up to long on as the big figure of Jamie Overton does the fielding.
I would have thought that the hardest thing about Narayan is you don't see the ball at all, because he hides it behind his backside. He's had to change his action, of course, but he just hides the ball behind his backside.
Until the last delivery stride, and Ingram gets a little bit tucked up, but plays it up to long off for a single. So that is the prelude of Narayan against Ingram. We'll see if Ingram can open his shoulders. That brings the 50 up for Glamorgan to no applause whatsoever, with the crowd knowing the enormity of the task facing the home heroes. 50 for 2. Glamorgan next in action here against Essex on Friday night as Narayan bowls, and Northeast turns it on the leg side out towards mid-wicket. Single taken, 51 for 2.
I was say with Narayan, the skills he's got is that he bowls very straight and he holds a great length and it's not flat. And he doesn't spin it a lot. It's just either way, but you can't get at him because of that. And he's such a great control.
Next delivery, Ingram does try and get after him and could be out. No, the fielder's missed, lost it completely. It cleared the ropes anyway, and mid-wicket there was covering his head with his hands. He must have absolutely lost that in the lights rather than the sun, because he's got the sun at his back. Who's that out there, Mark?
Well, he's all right though. It went 30 yards over his head.
Next delivery from Narayan is a better one, and Ingram plays it gently out towards Curran S, and just takes the single. 58 for 2. That was a comedy moment, really.
It was nowhere near him, was it?
No, I lost the track of the ball, to be honest, as well. But Curran definitely did. Northeast on strike, and he drives back down the ground, and it cannons away off the stumps. Not sure if Narayan got a finger on it, but Ingram had turned and made his ground anyway, I think. And at the end of the over, 59 for 2, 11 off. It's not enough.
No, not enough. And to be fair though, off Narayan, you said about there's a game within a game here, so you take that. He didn't go for 11 too often. No. Great shot by Colin Ingram. But yes, even that you say, it was a better ball than the next one. It was a decent ball that he hit for 6. It's just, I don't know so much mystery. It's very difficult when someone bowls with a trajectory like him and bowls gun barrel straight, and it's just going to nibble and it's going to bounce a bit. It's hard to set yourself, without taking a huge risk. And outstanding bowler. What's he been? 15, 16 years. Going around the world playing this T20, and one of the best. Him, Rashid Khan. Yeah. Quality performers.
He's just got really good control as well. It's almost like he's just dropping it where he wants it to. As Sam Curran was about to come in over the wicket to start the 8th over, but he's aborted his run up there. He'll have to try again. But that was a great shot from Ingram. It really was. And as I say, I'm excited by Ingram versus Narayan. And Ingram, I think, won round 1 there against Mr. Narayan. As Northeast on 22, as Sam Curran left arm over the wicket to him, and Northeast works this one into the leg side. It's good bowling from Sam Curran. They'll get a single, but just tucks Northeast up for room. And Northeast moves on to 23. Glamorgan moving on to 60 for 2. Colin Ingram comes back onto strike on 9. Goes for a little wander off towards square leg. I think Sam Curran must have lost that in the floodlights.
Yeah, I would think so over there, yeah. But he probably saw it go up, knew he was somewhere in the vicinity, and then when he lost it, it was 30 yards over his head, wasn't it?
Sam Curran comes into Ingram, and Ingram chops this one out into the offside. Will get a single out there towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. One more to Ingram. He moves on to 10. 61 for 2.
Missed Chris Jordan's hand. That very rarely that happens. Of all the cricketers I've watched and played with, him and Viv are the best hands. Though I never saw him drop a catch in his time at Sussex. Brilliant fielder.
He's out there at extra cover now. Sam Curran comes in, and Northeast down the ground. How much of this has he got? Enough of it. It's away for 6. Good strong shot from Sam Northeast. It made a funny noise off his bat, but it soared away and gone straight down the ground for 6. So Northeast moves on to 29.
Yeah, he was. I think he's had 20 odd balls already, and something like that can kick-start your innings, because he hasn't been very fluent this year. And one thing to come out of this, I suppose, if Glamorgan don't get anywhere near, is if Sam Northeast gets a score, because the more people, there's another 6, 7 games after this, is it? And you need all your batters firing.
Sam Curran is in to Northeast. He's forward and just pushes this one straight down the ground towards long off.
Yeah, it's 8 to come for Glamorgan after this. 7 for Surrey.
Because I think we've been alluding to over the last few games that the majority of runs have come between 2 batters, and even in a losing game, if some of the other batters can get going, get a start, get some confidence, that's going to be one of the positives coming out of it.
Lots of cameos from Kieran Carlson. He's got 20s and 30s regularly, but hasn't quite gone on.
Long off and the long on in Sam Curran. to Colin Ingram. Short one. Whoa, that has kept going. That has flown over the top of Jamie Smith. This will be a no ball. 4 of them just took off, and Jamie Smith had absolutely no chance of getting near that. He just watched it go straight over his head. That's very short from Sam Curran, and that whistles off down below us for 4. 74 for 2.
6 no balls then.
Yep, indeed.
That'll help.
Yep. Of course, it's not a free hit, because it wasn't the old foot fault, but 6 more to the total. As in over the wicket goes Sam Curran, and beats the edge of Ingram's bat as he's looking to run that down towards third man. Good response from Sam Curran. That was like an aeroplane taking off, that one. Just soared up above Jamie Smith. He's just saying that to Narayan. Just sort of took off and kept going. That delivery from Sam Curran. Had a good evening with the bat, of course, with his 66 off 29 deliveries. As he bustles in once more. Left arm over the wicket to Ingram. Slower ball, and Ingram's driving this down towards long off. Jacks will do the fielding down there. They'll pick up another single. 8's gone now. And Glamorgan chasing 237 for victory. 75 for 2. 16 off that over. North East 30. Ingram has 11.
I think that's the nearest Glamorgan have been to Surrey before Duckworth changed there. We should have been 90 at the end of this over. 15 behind the run. I'd take 15, lose by 15 to be fair, because I can't see him getting anywhere near that. But no, you never know, with, as you mentioned, with Ingram playing and the way he is, and Chris Cook as well, if he can come in and continue his form.
Narayan then to bowl from the Cathedral Road end. And Ingram hits that one up in the air. Could be caught at mid-wicket. He is caught at mid-wicket. Sam Curran clinging on to that one safely in the outfield. And Colin Ingram departs for just 11. And Sunil Narayan has won that battle.
Yeah, it's tough to keep pongoing, Narayan into the stands and down. It's quite a longish, as we said, longish boundary into the corners here, and didn't quite get all of it, Colin Ingram. And as we needed 5 or 6 sixes and the normal Colin Ingram kind of innings, but it wasn't to be tonight. And I think Chris Cook is coming out to bat now, and Chris Cook is I wouldn't say the last chance for Glamorgan, but he's certainly someone who can make a dent in this kind of total.
So Glamorgan denied the sight of Cook and Ingram batting together, which has been the highlight of recent games, coming thick and fast. 75 for 3 Glamorgan here on BBC Sport Online. Mark Church of BBC Radio London will be back shortly. Fionn Wynne joins me on the BBC commentary with Tony Cotty, former Glamorgan and Sussex batter, providing our expert opinion. North East has 30. Chris Cook is the new batter, and the Duckworth Lewis will go out of sight, I suspect, with that extra wicket falling. Here is Narayan then. 2 right-handers at the wicket. Batting to come, Billy Root, Dan Douthwaite, if he's able to. After injury, Chris Cook gets off the mark with a single down to square legs. 76 for 3. If you weren't listening earlier, Dan Douthwaite went off with what looked very much like a side strain after bowling just 10 balls. And the Glamorgan bowling was really ripped apart by Jacks, Evans and Curran. Narayan bowls and North East drives to long on and takes the single. Looking back on the bowling figures, Jamie McIlroy's 1 for 33 was the best. 77 for 3. Don't think anyone else will want theirs repeating. As Chris Jordan moves himself to slip and Narayan bowls, and that's flat batted through the offside for 4 runs by Chris Cook, who is a strong player, muscular, and thwacked that away through the covers.
Yeah, no width, made his own width, didn't he, Chris Cook there? Was on about off stump, that ball. It's, it very rarely leaves the stumps, Noreen, and you have to make your own width, and great shot by Chris Cook.
And comes around to bowl to Cook again, who gets in a bit of a tangle there, chops it down. Possibly off his pad, the ball just trickling away as Cook had to adjust into defensive mode at the last moment. Last ball coming up the 9th over, 81 for 3 on the board, 2-3-7 is the target for Glamorgan. Ryan bowls, and that's chopped down to third man for 4 more by Chris Cook. So a lively start by Glamorgan wicketkeeper and former captain, very experienced batter. He's 9 off 4 balls, and Glamorgan are 85 for 3 after 9, with 10 runs coming off that over.
And surprisingly enough, only 6 runs behind where Surrey were at this stage. Obviously 3 wickets, behind them, but certainly up with the run rate. But it doesn't feel that way.
No, when you see 152 still needed to win, it's a pretty daunting sight. But Chris Cook's obviously been in excellent form. He has lost his partner in crime in Colin Ingram, but North East going well. He's on strike now on 31. Chris Jordan to bowl the 10th over. And that's pulled into the leg side, but lands safely in front of deep square leg, where Gus Atkinson, I think it is, completes the... No, it's not. Can't see it is down at deep square, but just the 2 to Sam North East. Glamorgan move on to 87 for 3. Chasing a rather terrifying 237 to win. Chris Jordan has figures 1 for 5. As he's in now, bowling to Sam North East, who dubs a bit of a miscue into mid-wicket for a single. Chris Jordan fields off his own bowling. So Chris Cook on strike. Smart bowling from Chris Jordan, the experienced England international, as he readjusts his field, bringing mid on into the circle for Chris Cook.
Suggests he's going to bowl a bit shorter to Chris Cook. He knows that's his strength, hitting back over the bowler's head, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit shorter to him.
Chris Cook with a very wide stance, and he swings outside off stump and misses. Dot ball from Chris Jordan, who calls his bluff and pitches the ball right up in the block hole.
It's good pace by Chris Jordan for sure. You know, he's got that ability. What's he now? 30, must be 34-5 now, I think.
34.
But still going strong, you know, and probably hasn't lost too much in the pace department, especially when you're bowling, I suppose, 4 overs. He's very much a one-day bowler over the last 7 or 8 years.
He's in now again to Chris Cook, who another swing trying to go down the ground and a miss. Chris Jordan just plugging away outside the off stump.
And he's trying to whack him into the taff.
Yeah, if he's getting hold of one of these with that bat swing, it's going miles, but he's just being deceived by Chris Jordan's pace here. He's not doing anything particularly complicated, just bowling a good line and length at good pace. So 4 balls gone in the over, just 3 runs from it, as the run rate climbs up to 14, almost 14.5, as Jordan is in, and that's a slower delivery outside the off stump. Chris Cook pulls it out to deep mid wicket for a single, moves the score on to 89 for 3. Cook onto 9. That's 1 ball remaining of the 10th over. Glamorgan a long way behind the run rate here. It's up to 14.5 now. And Glamorgan are going at just under 9 and over. Sam North East on strike then on 34. Chris Jordan bounds in. That's another slow delivery outside the off stump that's just clubbed up to long on for a single. So it's getting tougher and tougher for Glamorgan out there, who are 90 for 3 at the halfway mark, still requiring another 147 runs to win. And Surrey's formidable bowling attack is not allowing them any room to score. They're just squeezing, and the pressure is mounting on Glamorgan, who have an awful lot of work to do.
Yeah, Chris Jordan's come on and bowled 2 overs for 8, and in this setup where Glamorgan are needing, as you said, 14 and a half and over, it just takes the wind out of your sails, even if you're not getting wickets. And he has picked 1 up for 8 off 2, so great job he's done.
In comes Narayan and bowls, and that's worked away on the leg side by North East. Takes a single out to mid-wicket.
Especially when you got Nareen on the other side as well. He's actually gone for 22 so far. You don't see that too often. Next delivery from Narayan will be to Chris Cook, who will smear that one away on the leg side, but Abbott slightly misfields towards the mid-wicket boundary, but not badly enough to allow them to run a second. Cook has been operating a strike rate of 190 so far this season, almost 2 runs a ball, which is pretty formidable, as North East steps away and smashes one out towards point, and they take a single. Wouldn't be quite enough, 190 the way things are now, 40 and nearly 15 and over.
Wouldn't be enough now. Narayan to bowl to North East on 36 not out, and he tries to mow it into the grandstand and misses. The ball misses the leg stump. Well, Glamorgan are opening their shoulders a couple of times and over, but Surrey just bowling too tightly most of the time, as North East tries to work that one away, but just cloths it rather down to fine leg. Metre or 2 either side, it would have run away for 4, but given Glamorgan's fortune tonight, it hits the man up in the circle. So Narayan into bowl. Cook comes down the wicket, tries to launch it on the leg side, but just hits it out towards backward square. Just the single taken. A canny over from the West Indian spinner has just conceded the 4 runs off it, and Glamorgan's required run rate mounts ever higher. It's now just short of 16 runs and over. They are 94 for 3 off 11, chasing 237 to win. Surrey's 236 for 2, with Laurie Evans scoring exactly half of them off exactly half the balls.
Yeah, the last 4 overs just going for 19 runs, and it was a decent runs per over start by Glamorgan. They weren't far away from where Surrey were, but those last 4 overs have just completely put the handbrake on their reply, and you can feel wickets are going to come soon.
Yep, Glamorgan has just got to go. There's no other choice, as Gus Atkinson's back into the attack, and he's bowled. Chris Cook tries to whack one out of the ground, an almighty heave across the line, and Gus Atkinson, just a pretty standard straight delivery really, but that's the pressure that was on Chris Cook, as he is bowled by Atkinson for 12. Glamorgan slip to 94 for 4. Still another 143 required, and they are slipping now towards a rather heavy defeat, you've got to say, as the batters coming in just have no choice but to swing.
That's the problem, isn't it? Do you look for, what, 170 for 7, or do you risk being all out for 120?
I think where Glamorgan are in the table, it's all about momentum, and I think all dressing rooms know they're going to lose games in T20, so it's all about keeping positivity, playing the way that you play, and I think they've got to keep going, because even if they get 170, they still lost by best part of 70 runs, and that's a hide-in, and run rate takes a dip. But Glamorgan needs 8 wins, and it's all about being positive and going into the next game with that mindset.
Billy Root, the new batsman, left-hander, and his first ball is driven beautifully, but just for a single out to deep cover. Glamorgan 95 for 4 now. Some North East is holding things together on 37, but as the set batter, he's going to have to go up a gear if he possibly can, but Surrey's bowling lineup is just not allowing it at the moment. Just relentless in their accuracy. As Atkinson is in and Sam Northeast carves off the back foot, but it just lands short of Tom Curran down at deep third. So just a single. It's a tidy start from Gus Atkinson. 3 balls, a wicket and 2 singles.
Yeah, would it be harsh to say there's not a lot of batting to come as well? If Dan Douthwaite isn't
Can't
fit,
bat, yeah.
you know, you're pretty much into a lot of the bowlers there, and it's I think this is a more last meaningful kind of partnership.
Atkinson to Root, and it's a not called a wide. Root left it alone. It's just a short ball outside the off stump. Root doesn't offer a shot, so it's a dot ball. The score remains 96 for 4.
As the worm flashes up on the screen, it's a rather drooping worm from the Glamorgan point of view.
It's a wilting in the
It's
sun.
a wilting worm, yes.
As Atkinson in to Root, who swings hard. It's gone high in the air. Can Tom Curran get there from deep third? No, he can't. He's dropped. He covered a lot of ground to get there. Gets 2 hands to it in the end, but he's on the move. Tough chance, but one that Tom Curran, the England international, would certainly back himself to take. So a life for Billy Root, who's dropped on 197 for 4.
I think he looked, didn't he, at the keeper when he was about 10 yards into his run, thinking, was it the keeper's? And then I think he lost the flight of the ball due to that glance, and made him more difficult catch than it probably was.
Atkinson in then to complete the over as Northeast swings, misses, another dot ball. So that's a fantastic over that from Gus Atkinson. Just 3 singles from it and the wicket. So Glamorgan 97 for 4 after 12 overs, still an enormous 140 runs to get.
Well, Glamorgan are playing the shots here, Tony. They're just not connecting with them often enough.
Yeah, to be fair, there's plenty of pace in this wicket, because most of the player misses have been from balls that have bounced above the bat, and so there's a bit in it if you're a seamer. Sure, where you've struggled, the spinners, Glamorgan spinners have struggled. That's, yeah, as I mentioned, they went for 14 and over, but Nareen isn't kind of a normal spinner. You know, he's a match winner, and he's bowled really well.
Abbott then to bowl his 3rd over. His first 2 have cost 18. The Australian sort of squad member may well see a bit of Ashes duty before the summer is out. Luxuriant locks and a prominent tash going on as well. 97 for 4, 12 overs, just 8 left for Glamorgan to score 140 runs. As Root will look for a second here, he'll have to hurry, dives, and the dive has just about earned him a reprieve as Jamie Smith demolishes the stumps, knocks 2 out of the ground. Whatever happened to the little gentle removal of the one bail that professionals are meant to do? That's the sort of mess I make of the stumps. 99 for 4.
Was that when you bat then?
Usually. Abbott to Root, who's on 4. Another fortuitous 4. He's been dropped and nearly run out, and he's hit another one up in the air. This one's behind the keeper. How has he got it there? And he'll come back for 2 runs fairly easily this time, as Jamie Smith, the keeper, does the fielding from about 10 metres inside the long stop boundary, I think you'd have to call that.
So I think Billy Root's answered your question. Are they going to creep to 170, or are they going to keep on?
Well, you'd have to go some to get to 170 even. Root has 6, 101 for 4, 100 up with that. That's another short ball from Abbott that Root has clubbed towards Jordan at mid-on. Just the single, and crowd's just gone a little bit flat, the home supporters now, after the volley of runs smashed by Surrey. Glamorgan need to produce something equally spectacular, and despite their best efforts and despite a reasonable run rate, I mean, batting first, this wouldn't be too calamitous. They'd be looking for 160, and you'd say that's a par-ish score on this ground. Not tonight. 135 to win. Surrey within sight of making it 5 from 7. Glamorgan will be 4 from 6 as Abbott bowls a short delivery, and that one's fizzed through, and North East step back, thinks about swatting it, thinks about uppercutting it, but can't get bat on ball.
Yeah, I would say, you know, if you just a word sum up the Surrey innings was controlled. Glamorgan's been frantic, hasn't it? A lot of big shots, a lot of swishes, playing and misses, where Surrey got to 100 early on without really playing a shot in anger, just picking off the odd sweep shot with the spinners.
Abbott in to bowl to North East on 38 not out, and he's hit that one over cover, but it'll be just a single, stopped on the first bounce by the sweeper running round the boundary in front of the pavilion. 103 for 4, Glamorgan in reply to Surrey's 236 for 2. As this will be the last ball of the 13th over. Billy Root will face up to it on 7 not out, the men out. Taylor 4, Carlson 22, Ingram 11, Cook 12. Abbott bowls, swatted away by Root. Oh, he's got hold of that one. Billy Root down over the backward square leg boundary. Root moves to 13. The total to 109 for 4 of 13 overs. 237 is the nominal target. But Glamorgan need to, as I say, get themselves into the next game on a bit of a positive note with the bat, minimise the damage to the run rate, and well, just get out of here with some salvage a little bit of pride. Fionn Wynne alongside Tony Cotty and Mark Church will take you through the rest of the game here on BBC Sport Online.
Yeah, I was going to say that one of the positives, or two of the positives, could be that Sam North East gets a decent big score and Billy Root gets going, and then you go into the next game with two other batters in Nick as well to supplement Cook and Ingram.
As North East is on strike now here to Sam Curran, who's bowled 2 overs. There's 1 wicket for 25, and that's on the leg stump. Sam North East tries to whack it over the leg side, practices his shot afterwards, as if to say that's how you do it. But misses, and he's still practicing, still shadow batting. As the run rate creeps up ball by ball here.
That ramp type of shot that he's practicing is probably his risk and rewards well worth it.
Short third and short fine up in the circle. Any pace on it will fly, but Sam Curran's canny with his variations as he bowls wide of the off stump. Just about gets away with it. Just on the blue line, you would say, although Sam North East doesn't look best pleased with it, mainly because he left it. So the score remains 109 for 4.
Hasn't quite got going, Sam North East. Is he 39 or 34? He's found it really hard work.
Yeah, sorry, just given very little away as Curran scuttles in, and that's got hold of that one, Sam North East. That was on leg stump, and that whip off his legs that he was practicing a couple of balls earlier finally gets hold of one past short fine for 4. A welcome boundary for Sam North East, but a lot more of those needed for Glamorgan as they reach 113 for 4.
Yeah, he's getting across his stumps, isn't he? And as I said, risk and reward, good shot. He's only got to beat Sunil Narine down at short fine leg, and he gets his 4 runs.
Curran then into North East. He bangs that one in back of a length, and that's just hit up to long off for a single. So the score moves along to 114 for 4, sorry. 123 required from 38 balls. It's looking rather unlikely at this stage.
It is, but it sounds better than 123 or 6.2 overs, isn't it? But yeah, it's a long way away.
Billy Root then, who is throwing caution to the wind pretty much for his 13 from 7 balls. On strike to Sam Curran. Left-handed Root swings hard up to mid-off, but gets away with it, just lands short, but it's another dot ball. Pace off from Sam Curran, who's so clever at disguising those variations of his. Just taking the pace off the ball subtly.
Yeah, he's got a number of deliveries of Sam Curran. I think Surrey bowled pretty well this evening as well. I think they've been pretty tight with what they've done. They've put together a pretty complete performance so far.
Sam Curran in then to conclude his over, and he's taken out off stump. Billy Root giving himself some room, trying to hit through the covers, and off stump clatters out of the ground. Sam Curran picks up his second wicket, and Glamorgan falling apart here in pursuit of this enormous total. They slipped to 114 for 4 at the end of the 14th over, sorry. So 2 wickets to Sam Curran, and an uphill task now seems almost impossible for Glamorgan.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned, they bowl well there. I think they bowled kind of championship. They've been attacking and they've hit the wicket really, really hard, haven't they?
Yep.
And to be fair to Glamorgan, they haven't got the seamers to do it. A lot of their seamers are injured, but they've hit the wicket really hard. We talk about hitting the top of off, bowl your best ball, and to be fair, it's quite a quick wicket. The wicket's flown through, and they bowl a lot of dot balls because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I think this is probably the most complete performance from Surrey in the competition so far, with both bat and ball. And Prem Sisodia is out there. It's the start of a new over though. It's the 14th, and it's Sunil Narayan with his last over. 1 for 25 so far. Here goes northeast, down the pitch to him, drives down towards Will Jacks at long off, and they will take the single. And Sisodia will come on to strike for the first time. Yeah, we said that with Chris Jordan's first over. Bent his back and bowled quick in that first over as Narayan is in. Sisodia backs away and cuts nicely out towards the sweeper on the cover rope. That's Sam Curran. Sisodia slips a touch as he turns, but comes back for 2. And 117 for 5.
And Sisodia coming in obviously confirms Dan Douthwaite is out of action. That injury he suffered from his bowling, so Glamorgan's tail is even longer.
I'm not sure.
As this one's cut by Sisodia out towards extra cover. That's a great shot.
Yeah, 2 good shots actually.
Yeah.
He timed the first cut shot as well. I'm not quite sure where Atsaglu bats. I know McIlroy and Smith will probably bat before McIlroy, but yeah, not a lot to come really, and it's a bit of last knock-ins here, isn't it?
Narayan is in, and swinging like a rusty gate with a thick inside edge. Sisodia, he gets through for the single as the throw comes in. Narayan throws the ball back onto the stumps, but he's home. 122 for 5. Sisodia on to 7. Northeast still there since the start. 45 from 37. There's a couple of deliveries to go here for Narayan as he's over the wicket to Northeast, who swings him into the leg side. Sean Abbott is out there at deep mid-wicket to do the fielding. And the throw comes in, one bounce over the top of the stumps. Just noticed Tom Laws is out there for Surrey at the moment. So Tom Laws, the 12th man, is out there at short third at the moment as Narayan is in. And Sisodia swings again, thick inside edge. Almost took himself off his feet, and that potters down to short fine leg. So that's it for Narayan tonight. 1 for 34, always entertaining to watch. Sunil Narayan, he's a very, very good bowler. 14 gone, 123 for 5. 6 overs remaining. That target 237.
Yeah, he bowled one ball that got pulled out here to mid-wicket. I can't think of another one that wasn't on the same length. With a little bit of the same line, always hitting the stumps with a little bit of nibble. He's a fine bowler, great control.
Does help having 237 runs on the board, but it wasn't, as you said, it just nothing's been complicated from Surrey's performance from the bat into the bowling. They've just done the basics really, really well, and it's paid off for every bowler and every batter that's gone out there, really. As Sam Northeast prepares to face Chris Jordan, who's bowled brilliantly for his 1 for 8 from 2 overs. It's in now to Sam Northeast, who pulls off the back foot and brilliantly saved down there on the deep square leg boundary. Sam Northeast would have been convinced that that was going for 4. It's a fantastic save just inside the rope, diving full stretch, one-handed.
Yeah, Cameron Steele and his flying moustache down there.
To be fair,
Restricts it to 2.
he's got to do something, hasn't he?
He hasn't done a lot tonight. He hasn't had a ball, he hasn't had a bat.
Bit of a jolly, really. He's had probably had a nice bit of tea in the middle, and that was him.
Glamorgan 125 for 5, still 112 away. As Jordan back into Northeast, who swings across the line out to deep mid-wicket, but it lands safely in front of Sam Curran out there, who whizzes the throw back in, just the single. Prem Sisodia back on strike to Chris Jordan.
I just think, as I say, you look at the Surrey team on paper before every game and you think, wow.
There's not a weak link there, is there?
They haven't put a game together yet, but tonight they have actually put both parts together.
There's a huge swarm of seagulls makes their way across the pitch in pursuit of some food by the looks, and Chris Jordan whizzes one past, walks straight through Sisodia, almost just past his leg stump. Another dot ball. 126 for 5.
Sorry, committee down below us, still enjoying their evening, aren't they?
Wonder which one of them's driving.
Well, yes. I should think they've probably got a nice hotel for the evening. Probably staying where Chris Martin's staying, I would have thought.
As Chris Jordan's in, the 4th ball of the 16th over, and Sisodia gives himself some room again outside leg stump and is just beaten between bat and pad. Nowhere near it really. This is just too good from Chris Jordan here. A class apart for Glamorgan's batters today. And for Prem Sisodia, who's come in at place higher because of that injury to Dan Douthwaite. It's certainly not easy when there's still 111 runs behind. As Laurie Evans is just on his knees, taking a bit of a breather at point there. Clearly doesn't feel like the ball's coming to him anytime soon. But that's a great shot by Prem Sisodia. Slashes one through the covers for 4. Won't make much difference to the run rate, but a tidy shot.
Just picked the slower there, hasn't he?
Yeah, just looking at CJ just going in there, and his chain, right? It was always a battle between him and Jofra. The chain's got bigger and bigger every year. The more tests and games they played, bigger the chain. And I think Jofra's got him now, to be fair.
I remember his debut in 2007, Chris Jordan.
Chris Jordan then, to conclude the 16th over, he's into Prem Sisodia, slashes again outside the off stump, and he's going to get 4 more. So a lovely little cameo this from Prem Sisodia. He's on to 15 from 8 balls, just using the pace of Chris Jordan to slash that through the covers for 4 runs. So Glamorgan are a long way behind, but they might as well have a little bit of fun out there in the last 4 overs. 134 for 5. Sam Northeast on 49, Prem Sisodia on 15.
Clever shot that. It was a no-look cut shot because it ended up looking like he was trying to pull it through mid-wicket and it whistled off for 4. It was Bill Athley that discovered Chris Jordan.
Was it?
Yeah, Bill Athley was out on tour and saw a young Chris Jordan and said, you've got to get this lad over to Surrey and help get him to Dulwich College. And then I remember his debut at 17 in 2007 in a championship game at Canterbury, and everyone just sat there and went, wow.
Why was he let go then?
It was they were mucking him around. As here comes Sam Curran, left arm over the wicket, and this one a swing and a miss from Northeast, and into the gloves it goes of Jamie Smith away to his right. At one stage he was opening the batting in championship cricket and wasn't really bowling a great deal.
Well, he started off in championship at Sussex, and he was taking lots of wickets, bowling 90 miles an hour, and he did that for a while, and then had that success with white ball and changed. But he had a really great career down there at Sussex.
I think Surrey were always, Alex Stewart were always desperate to get him back because he never left at a time when he should have left Surrey. Just didn't handle him properly. As Sam Curran is in, that's way down the leg side, and nothing given because Northeast was sort of jumping across his stumps, trying to flick it over short fine, and Ian Blackwell keeps his hands down in front of him. But yeah, he never got used properly. And I think it was the perfect move to Sussex for him. Yeah, just seeing that again, Northeast is 1.5 foot outside his off stump, trying to swing that over the leg side. But he is a hell of a good cricketer. Here's Chris Jordan. As left arm over the wicket comes Sam Curran. Now he's trying a little ramp and gets nothing on this Sam Northeast. And that's taken by Jamie Smith, moving away to his right hand side. So 3 dot balls, the first 3.
Be interesting actually how Sam Northeast, he needs runs in this competition, but how you feel after a 43 ball 49. You know, sometimes it's worse than getting out, you know, 10 off 3. Sometimes, you know, for your confidence, I mean.
He hasn't really timed anything as yet. As in over the wicket comes Sam Curran. Oh, he slaps at this one, and it flies off an outside edge and down to the third man boundary rope for 4. But that is his 50 for Sam North East, so he's kept going. And he is 53 not out of 44 deliveries, Sam North East. He doesn't even raise his bat. There's a ripple of applause, but he's kept going. That's the thing here, Sam North East. He has kept going. He's a terrific player, Sam North East. Maybe a little bit out of form at the moment. Sam Curran is into him, and he's swinging this one into the leg side, and there's a single there as Gus Atkinson dives away to his left to do the fielding. North East moves on to 54, so it's 98 more needed with 3.1 overs remaining.
I think your committee is on the port now.
I think they are.
They're getting louder again.
I think they are.
They're definitely a Sam Curran fan club as well.
Yeah, they are. You know, I suppose if you're going to do it as the committee, do it in style.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's Sisodia back on strike on 15. As he stands with that bat raised, Sam Curran left arm over the wicket too. He's jumped outside his leg stump. Curran follows him. Sisodia gets a bat on it. It rolls out towards Cameron Steele, sweeping on the cover boundary rope. End of the over. And Chris Jordan comes jogging across towards Gus Atkinson, who I think is going to bowl our 18th over, but well, impossible position here now for Glamorgan. 17 gone, 140 for 5, 97 runs required off 3 overs. I think they've just come across Surrey on the night they've got both parts of their game, well, all 3 parts really.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, fair play. It's a top draw performance. Tough for the crowd watching the knock-ins really the last 5 or 6 overs, because obviously no hope for Glamorgan.
Gus Atkinson then to complete his spell. He has 1 for 16 already, and he's cut for just a single by Prem Sisodia. A wide delivery outside off stump takes Glamorgan to 141 for 5.
Atkinson's been very good again tonight.
He's been in good form, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's sort of really hit this season, Gus Atkinson.
And in a bowling lineup that does include the likes of Sam Curran and Chris Jordan, it's a very impressive effort to stand out in that way.
Been very good in the championship as well.
Yeah, he bowls at good pace as well, Atkinson, who charges in now to Sam North East, and that's pulled by North East, but again the extra pace of Atkinson just rushes him. He's only able to get a single out to deep square. 142 for 5 in the 18th over.
He says it was playing a bit of franchise cricket that did it for him over the winter. He said it really did his confidence the world of good. He trained really hard. He's definitely put on a yard. But yeah, he just looks a far more confident cricketer this summer, Gus Atkinson.
1 for 18 then for Atkinson so far as he's into Prem Sisodia. He pulls out to deep mid-wicket. There's a long chase for mid-on. Is it going to get there? No, they give up on the chase in the end. It's gone for 4 more to Prem Sisodia, who's enjoying himself out there. Not much to enjoy for Glamorgan tonight, but might as well try and get a few runs under his belt while he can. He's probably not going to get too many chances with the bat.
I think the Flames were a bit over the top for that one. At the end of the day, just
a little bit sarcastic now, aren't they?
Trickled over.
If you paid for them, you may as well use them though.
Keep the fans warm.
Double figures Sisodia in T20.
As Gus Atkinson's in, and Sisodia's launched this one straight back down over his head, safely over mid off for a 2. So he's chancing his arm here, Prem Sisodia, but he's certainly entertaining us as this game peters out into a emphatic Surrey victory. That is, as Nick Webb's just informed us, Prem Sisodia's highest T20 score, and the first time he's actually got into double figures. So with 23 from 12.
Get him up the order.
Seems to be enjoying himself.
He's played very nicely.
Atkinson then 2 balls left of the 18th. Into Sisodia, who swings, gives himself lots of room outside the leg stump, backs away, swing and a miss.
Keep him
through
at
to the
7.
keeper.
Keep him at 7.
Yeah, he's better when he just stands still, isn't he?
Stand and deliver.
Yeah. But no, he's made his runs in 13 deliveries. But yeah, it's a funny old atmosphere now, isn't it?
It's dead, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's dead.
It's
tough.
gone.
And the home crowd, you know, you're getting beat so heavily, it's tough.
Atkinson in then to complete his spell, and he's hit inside out by Sodia, but he's caught at mid-off. So from Sisodia's fun comes to an end. He backed away outside leg stump, tried to hit inside out over cover, but picks out mid-off. He falls for an entertaining 23 from 14 balls. Glamorgan 148 for 6 now, so with 2 overs left, a very unlikely 89 to win. Need to go at 45s.
I tell you what, if they do that, it'd be more spectacular than Coldplay, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
80,000 people leaving Coldplay, including Chris Martin, I would have thought. If they get near this,
So they go at 45s.
Yeah.
You never know.
Might need a few no balls in there as well, but no, well bowled Gus Atkinson.
Yeah, 2 for 24.
Yeah.
That's a top effort when you're chasing 230 to go for a runner ball, pick up a couple of wickets. I just go back to my point. They've hit the wicket really hard, all the Surrey seamers, and backed up by phenomenal spin and Noreen. So, yeah, good performance all around.
So it's going to be Sean Abbott below us from the Cathedral Road end with the 19th over, coming into Sam North East, who's cutting this down to third man. He'll get a single. Rory Smith is the new batter out there with Sam North East. He might carry his bat here, Sam North East, in the T20 game. That doesn't happen terribly often.
Do you remember that? Well, you wouldn't remember it, I suppose, but Sunil Gavaskar, didn't he? He carried his bat
Oh, we
for
were
36 not out.
Funnily enough,
60
we
holes.
were
That was the other
looking
day,
this-
wasn't it? The
we were
anniversary of
looking
that,
this up the other day. It was a World Cup game, as in comes Sean Abbott, and oh dear, Rory Smith will go first ball here. He's just tried to swing that leg side, and it's hit the shoulder of his bat, and just looped to backward point. No more he can do really. So he goes first ball, and Glamorgan are 7 down, but obviously at this stage he's got to swing the bat, and that one's just gone straight up in the air, and the catch is taken. But yes, it was a 60 over game.
Yeah, World Cup.
And
yeah.
he batted for the entire
was on
60
this day.
overs, yep. And
On
it was
this day in
was it against
1975.
England?
Was it? That's
Yeah.
random.
Yeah,
You
it
get
is.
out, haven't it?
36 of 174 balls.
That was it. And
While
I
chasing
Yeah,
335.
to make a stand.
there you go. You see, I
Our
think
bowlers were rubbish.
what we were saying was we'd like to see that brought back in the smash bang wall up of the modern game. But that is the anniversary today.
Yeah, and he got
Yeah.
dropped, didn't he? He got dropped.
Yeah, it was a protest innings sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Because our bowlers were rubbish.
Well, there was
Well,
something.
That's a tip, right, of a bowlers v batters argument.
Absolutely. So it's Hatzaglu, the new batter, and this one from Sean Abbott's back of a length, and he just clubs it up towards mid-off, and there is Chris Jordan to do the fielding. And North East will come back onto strike on 56, 150 for 7. I think it was when I was giving my normal boring story about how much I enjoyed Hashim Amla's 34 off 270 deliveries batting for the whole day against Hampshire. As over the wicket once more comes Sean Abbott to North East, who's gone up and over the top of extra cover. That'll be one of the best shots he's played tonight, Sam North East, and that'll run away for 4. And Sam North East is keeping going here, but just gives himself a little bit of room, and then up and over the top of the covers it goes, and away to the boundary rope for 4 runs.
You know, if that's what you enjoy, you do need a hobby, you know.
You know, I need to get out more.
You need a hobby.
It's
You just
actually,
have
I have said it's the 3rd greatest day of my life. Birth of my daughter, Johnny Wilkinson's drop goal, Ashley Mamla's 34 off.
Johnny Wilkinson.
Yeah,
When was that?
it was a
What was that, for
sport-
Newcastle?
Yeah, Newcastle Falcons. Yeah, 2003.
know.
Sydney.
Memorable.
Sydney,
Plotted
yeah.
from my memory.
Well, club championship, they went up from Division 1 to the Premiers. In comes Abbott, and this is swung down the ground by North East, and round comes Laurie Evans, but he won't get to that, and that's over the boundary rope and away for 4 more. So Sam North East here, he does have a very good chance of carrying his bat actually, and swings this one down the ground, and he's kept going, Sam North East. Probably not at his best at the moment, but he's kept going. He's 64 not out. There is 1 ball to go of this penultimate over, 7 in the game, still 79 required by Glamorgan as Abbott is in, and Sam North East. Well, that's a cracking shot Whoa, that's the best shot he's played tonight. He has cut that up and over the top of cover point, 5 rows back in front of the pavilion. That is a great strike from Sam Northeast, and well, that's something Glamorgan can take out of this, because he's just beginning to time things now, his Northeast, and that was a cracking shot. End of the over from Sean Abbott. 1 over to go in a very strange atmosphere, which is understandable at the moment here at Sophia Gardens. But Tony Cotty, he's just that shot is a man who's beginning to find a bit of form. 164 for 7, 73 record off the final over.
Yeah, that was a great shot. And do you know that he did give himself a bit of room, but he looked like he had a base when he hit that, and quite a lot through this innings he's been on the move, and that's usually what batters who are struggling for form, you know, is quite consistent with batters struggling for form. So, you know, yeah, if you come out of this game and Sam Northeast is in, Nick, then that's one positive, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Chris Jordan then, who has 1 for 19 from his 3. Going to complete the innings and is defending 73 from the final over, so I think he'll be okay. Morgan 164 for 7. Hatzoglu on strike with just 1 to his name. Takes a single, 2 mid-on. They probably could have taken 2 because Laurie Evans is so relaxed, but he's hit 100 off 50 balls.
He's probably quite enjoying this, Chris Jordan. You think of the number of T20 games that he's played where he's been running in with 6 to defend or 10 to defend.
Nice to have a 73.
72 run cushion now with 5 balls to go.
Sam Northeast on strike then on 70. As Chris Jordan charges in. And he bowls, he's pulled out to over fine leg for 4. Didn't quite get hold of that, but it was short, sat up quite nicely and just timed well enough so that deep square had no chance. Sam Northeast moves to 74. Chris Jordan doesn't look particularly bothered to have been hit for 4. Glamorgan moved to 169 for 7. 4 balls remaining.
It's a bit of a shame for Sam Northeast. This is the last over, because he's beginning to look in cracking nick now.
He has dealt with that one pretty easily, as Chris Jordan in with the reply, and that's pulled not quite as well timed there. He's going to come back for the second to long on. Yes, he is. Hatzoglu runs to the danger end, gets there safely. So 2 more to Sam Northeast. Moves on to 76. 171 for 7 with 3 balls remaining. Chris Jordan has 1 for 26 so far. Sean Abbott the most expensive, with gone for 46 from his 4. But in the context of such a big win for Surrey, it doesn't matter too much. It's Chris Jordan to bowl the last 3 balls as a bit more of a formality than anything. As he's in, Northeast drive straight back to the bowler. No run. Perfect Yorker there from Chris Jordan, doing what he does best, even with 66 runs to defend.
I'm not sure Laurie Evans is going to be able to get off the field of play at the moment.
He's not moving very well, is he?
He's sort of doing all sorts of stretches and things. But yeah, his innings was outstanding today. 118 not out. And as I say, I think Glamorgan have just come across Surrey tonight, and they just put the whole game together.
Yeah, barely given a chance really, as Chris Jordan is in and he's bowled. Sam Northeast for 76. The Surrey fans below us enjoyed it, but there's not much noise from anyone else really. Even Chris Jordan doesn't really celebrate. He's got 1 ball left to bowl. Sam Northeast goes for 76 from 54 deliveries. He's played nicely after a lean run of form. So again, as we were saying, if he can take some confidence from this innings and some runs under his belt, then Glamorgan will be still full of confidence.
I think Nick mentioned that would they look to limp to 170? Well, they haven't limped to 170. They've come out, you know, it just shows how well Surrey have bat, because Glamorgan have gone for it and they just haven't been good enough, and they just bowled such a heavy ball, all the seamers, and passed the bat so often, you know, and it's as you said, a really good performance.
So just a formality ball then for Jamie McElroy to face the final ball. He goes for a ramp, misses through to the keeper, dot ball, and that concludes a fairly comprehensive win for Surrey by 66 runs. Glamorgan fall well short of that imposing total of 237 that was set up by Laurie Evans' fantastic century and Sam Curran's explosive 66. Will Jacks made 46 at the top of the order. Glamorgan falling well short. Sam Northeast, the top scorer, was 76, but very little else from Glamorgan as Surrey's bowlers applied the pressure. And a fine all-round performance from the visiting side.
Yeah, I go back to 2 words really: control and frantic, and that was some of the Surrey's innings was controlled. Got a great base, great foundation, 2 quality batters who hit good cricket shots and run well, and got off to 100 off 10 overs, and then set the foundation for Sam Curran to come in and blast 60 alongside Laurie Evans' 100, and that it was very controlled from start to finish. And then Glamorgan came in, and you could see they were under the pump, and there was a lot of movement. Sam Northeast came out of it with getting a score, but struggled a bit, other than the last over or 2, and all the other batters were under huge pressure, and it showed. And the Surrey bowlers just hit that wicket so hard and bowled like it was a championship game, and that was the difference. Top performance by Surrey, and Glamorgan, well, you can take that positive of Sam Northeast getting some runs under his belt.
Yeah, I think Surrey will be very happy with that. I think to come here where they've often lost against Glamorgan, but Surrey haven't got a brilliant record against Glamorgan at all, and they've always found them a very difficult side to beat. And I think Glamorgan have just come across Surrey tonight. They put their game together. That both sides of their game, the batting and the bowling, they put both sides together tonight. So just about a complete performance that from Surrey. And as I say, I think they'll be pretty happy heading back this evening. And yeah, just a very, very good performance from Surrey. I think that's all you can say this evening.
It was a performance from a team, obviously it's the first time I've really seen Surrey, one of those performances where you think, how is anyone going to beat them? To be honest, they were the all-round deal. Batting, bowling, fielding. I can think of one chance that Laurie Evans gave when he was dropped, but he was already on about 95, 96 when he was dropped by Kieran Carlson at long off.
It's really interesting, Phil. It's exactly what Tony Cotty said. I think in the first 4 games, it's exactly what Tony said. Because you bat the whole way down, you're always thinking, well, there's someone who comes in after me who'll do the job. What you saw tonight was 3 blokes literally saying, none of you are going to have a bat here. We're going to take this on. We're going to control it. We're not going to rely on anybody else to come in and do it. And I think that's where they were getting themselves into trouble. When they lost against Sussex, that they just kept going for it. Sean Abbott bailed them out against Kent. Nobody bailed them out against Sussex, and fair play to Sussex. And against Gloucestershire as well, okay, it was a sticky wicket and they almost defended 120, but it was really only Jamie Smith that sort of got his head down. It sounds a strange thing to say in a 2020 game, whereas tonight you've seen an opening pair put on 115, and then Sam Curran comes in and joins Laurie Evans. So I just wonder if there was possibly a little bit of what Tony said with that. We've got so much coming behind us that we can just keep going and going and going and going.
And it's come off, yeah.
There's a culture, all of the counties we look at Surrey, there's a culture, there's an ego at Surrey, which is a positive and a weakness at times. And it's a weakness when exactly that, no one takes ownership and they think that they can blitz the opposition and take the mickey out of the opposition. But today they didn't. They took ownership of that innings.
Yep.
And it was set beautifully by Laurie Evans, of course, at the top of the order. And with, there's still a lot of games to go in this competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's, a 1 defeat for Glamorgan, who were on a brilliant run. They were trying to go, they were trying to go 5 in a row, pretty much. So it doesn't define Glamorgan's season either, but they were a team in form, and Surrey wiped the floor with them pretty much.
Do you know what I would say about Glamorgan are under the pump with seamers at the moment, and you could see that by the way Surrey bowled. They hit that wicket hard. They looked a good cricket wicket. That if I was county cricket, you'd be going, that's a quick wicket, and you'll get your just desserts if you bang it in, and they did. They bowled at pace. Even Chris Jordan there the last over, he's still running in, and I don't think it's through lack of effort. I don't think Glamorgan have got the seamers who can do that at the moment, and it looked a different pitch.
Interestingly, it was a very oval wicket. It's the sort of wickets you get for Surrey in Championship cricket, where there is a bit of pace and bounce in it. But no, absolutely, and I think what Glamorgan have to sort of say to themselves is, one evening doesn't, it's just one defeat really. But I can see what you're saying, and fingers crossed for Dan Dathwaite. That's nothing too serious, because short of Seamers already, and he's had to go off. So fingers crossed for him, because it's a quick turnaround. That's the other thing with 2020. Night after next is the next one. So they come around very, very quickly, these 2020 games.
Yeah, Glamorgan are back in action here on Friday. They take on Essex, and Surrey as well playing on Friday. They're going down to Hove,
Yes.
so not much turnaround. A few long journeys in there as well. Glamorgan are play on Friday and they're straight back up for a 4-day game after that. So yeah, really tough turnaround, but an emphatic performance from Surrey, a difficult one for Glamorgan. But we go again on Friday, and you can join us all here on BBC Sport Online for that. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you all soon.